We've got the dragons. We've got a couple of dragons over here. There's Deborah. Hello, Deborah. And Kelly. Hello again. Look at this. Do you watch Dragon's Den? It's a great show. I love it. I love it. It's nice to know that even though they're multimillionaires, they don't mind a free ticket for something. I like that. It's better. That's how you stay rich. We've got Danny as well. Where's Danny Kerr? There he is. Danny Kerr from the England rugby team. Lovely stuff. They said to me, oh, we put some celebrities at the front, you know, for you to take the mickey out of. I said, oh, lovely, who's there? He said, Danny Kerr from the England rugby team. I went, yeah, I'll pick on him. Yeah, great. And we've got Heidi. Where's Heidi as well? We've got Heidi over there. Hello, Heidi. Heidi, you'll remember from the Sugar Babes, of course. You were always my favourite Sugar Babe, which is saying something, because there was about 240, if I recall. At one point, they were Britain's third biggest employer, after Tesco and the NHS. Applause to our celebrities for joining in. I've got twin daughters. My twin daughters are 5. I was in Scunthorpe one night. I'm not showing off. I get to some nice places. And I confused a woman with it. I was on stage. I said, has anyone else got twins? A woman went, yeah, I have. I said, lovely, how old are they? She went, 5 and 6. I was like, what's wrong with you? How have you done that? There's a weird moment with twins. When they get to about 2, you just start to hate people with one kid. You see them in the park, you're like, oh, you're right there with your spare hand, yeah? They love getting up early, my kids. My God. 5:45 every morning, no matter how much stuff I put in front of their door. Daddy! Look, I don't love you till 8, okay? That's how my brain works. I mean 8 a.m, not the age of 8, that'd be a bit harsh, wouldn't it? 3 more years, you get hugged now. Go on, get out. Get out in the garden where you live. It's hard. Don't get me wrong, there's some beautiful, beautiful moments with children. There's some great moments. This happened recently, right? There's a moment with your children where you look at them, and it seems obvious, right? It seems obvious, but there's a moment you look at them, and they do something so like you, that you realise for the first time, this little human is just a mini version of you. You've created a mini version of you, and it's magical, and it sounds obvious, but when it happens, it's brilliant. I was in the park with my daughter. She's 5 years old, and we're in the toddler park near the house. And it's got one of those toddler swings where, you know, the ones where you put your legs through, the kids put the legs through, not the normal swing that anyone can go on. And we're stood next to the swing, and there's a girl trying to get on the swing. She's about 14. She shouldn't even be in the toddler park. She's quite a big girl, right? Just, you know, like a big girl, right? She's fat, right? I don't want to say that, but she was fat. Anyway, she was trying to get in the toddler swing. And it was a bit annoying, but, you know, we're British, and we queued and waited. And I said to my daughter, I said, sweetheart, do you want me to ask this girl to get off the swing? She's showing off to her friends in the corner, this girl. And my daughter assessed the situation. She saw the big girl trying to get in the tiny swing. And she said, no, Daddy, I'd like to see what happens.
Sometimes you've got to knock a routine on the head because it's been won. Some audience member has just nailed it, and nothing will ever be as perfect as... I was in Killarney, right? And I had a routine about stupid things you do on your holidays, right? Where I would generally ask the audience, hey, what's the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holiday, right? This guy gave an answer that I frankly, you know, I should have given him a diploma at the end of it, like, because it was such a sweet, beautiful, perfect, you know, it was lovely as a short thing. And comedians love brevity, by the way. We love that, just beautiful. They love it. Like, it's like Twitter. I love Twitter, mainly because it's allowed up to 40,000 people to contact me directly and tell me I look like Gru from Despicable Me. And it has been amazing for me. We love a bit of brevity, right? So I'm chatting to this audience. And look, tell you, I'll give an example. I would ask the audience, what is the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holidays? Just throw out the first line of it. Stupidest thing you've ever done on your holidays. Lost your passport. Brilliant. First example of it. Lost your passport. Standard kind of answer. Give me another one. Had sex with a man. A surprisingly common response. And if you're gay, actually not that weird at all. It's great. So lost the password, has sex with a man. Give me one more for the hell of it. Bit by a donkey. That's very much the stupidest thing that donkey did, rather than you, if the truth be told, right? So lost the password, has sex by a man, bitten by a donkey. It's a hell of a night out, right? It's a fantastic single evening. If you could roll that into one story, you were in the game here, right? That is fantastic. They're all good answers, right? But they could have happened anywhere, right? With respect, you could have lost your passport at home, you could have a sex with a man anywhere you want. It's on your phone, Grindr, check it out, right there. You could go to Blackpool and have sex with a donkey, or be bitten, not have sex with a donkey. Don't go to Blackpool and have sex with a donkey. Right? Of all the things I'm going to... If you take anything away from tonight's show, let it not be that, oh yeah, Blackpool, oh, you can ride the donkeys. For nothing, it's fantastic. It's out of season, you know, they're not getting much work. No. You just got to go with this stuff when it happens, right? No, they're all fine things, they're grand stuff. I walked out in Killarney and I said, what is the stupidest thing you've ever done in your holidays? And a man in the front row just raised his hand and went, I kicked an armadillo. Why did you kick an armadillo? And I goes, I don't know. He just walked out in front of me. I didn't know what to do. He was on a nature trek with a local guide sympathetically showing him the wildlife. Literally, there's a man at the front with a tree going, if you look up there, you can see that's the nest of the... And let's just pull back the bush. And now, can you see the tracks of the... as it walks through the... And he's at the back, just minding his own business. And an armadillo walked out in front of him. And he just panicked and went, Jesus! And boom, hoofed it. Properly caught it with the instep. Fum, fam, right? Lifted it over a tree. Converted the armadillo, right? Now, I have no idea what I find more delicious about story, right? The face of the tour guide going, don't kick the wildlife. Was that not obvious in the general tone of what we're doing here today? Or the armadillo going, this is a bad day for it.
So I'm a single mum, right? And whatever people say, it is different than being a single dad. Because women see single dads and go, oh, he's so good with his kids. Isn't he coping wonderfully? Oh, he's so good with his children. I must have sex with him now. Whereas men see single mums and they go, run him out, baggage! I went on a date with a guy that called my little boy baggage. He's 3. He's not baggage. He's hand luggage. He just fits in the overhead lockers. It's kind of perfect. Recently, my brother said, look, Shap, you've been separated for ages now. You really need to find yourself a new fella. Why don't you go on the internet? Because my brother found his girlfriend on the internet. I think it was eBay. So I joined an internet website, and to my surprise, right, on the online form that you had to fill in, one of the things you had to tick to see who you wanted was racial preference. And it said white, Caucasian, 3 boxes, not important, decidedly important, absolutely crucial. And I thought that's a little bit weird because your photo's up there in the first place, so you can just be racist in private. You know, why hurt anyone's feelings, right? So I want to show you this. I wrote an email to the administrator of this website. I wrote him an email, basically, in a nutshell, going, what are you on, mate? And he wrote back, going, the choices we provide on our matching algorithms, I had to look that word up, nothing to do with sex, are for our users to find the perfect match. They are in no way indicative of someone being racist at all. White, Caucasian, absolutely crucial. All right, so I wrote back going, shut up, a bit more coherently than that. And then he wrote back and said, some people are more stringent than others when it comes to finding a partner. Doesn't that sound like a real dig at me? Like, oh, you'd shag any old colour. We merely help them find the right person by enabling them to measure height, weight, occupation, level of income, and ethnicity. Thing is, height, weight, occupation, level of income, they're all things that can be measured. How do you measure ethnicity? I had no idea how to measure my own when I was filling out the form. I had to look on a Dulux colour chart. Turns out I'm natural calico. This correspondence went on for quite a while, right? And tell me if you think I went too far. Eventually, I sent him a copy of the Nuremberg race laws. I'm not saying that this website is a Nazi organisation. I just think we should nip things in the bud at source. He wrote back to me and said, Dear Shappy, I've enjoyed our correspondence. I have now noticed your name is Shappy Corsandi. Might you be the same Shappy Corsandi I saw on the Michael McIntyre Comedy Roadshow? If so, I am single. And I wondered if you'd like to go for a coffee. Won't this be a funny story to tell our kids? Smiley face. I wrote back. I said, thank you so much for your email. I'm very flattered. However, I've noticed your name is James Chowdhury. Little bit too brown for me.
The most sexually adventurous thing I ever did, I did it when I was single. When I was single, I ordered the #1 vibrator on the Love Honey website. And the Love Honey website is a sex toy website, for those of you pretending not to know. I kind of ordered it out of spite, right? Because one of my exes called me a prude, which I think is such an extreme thing to call someone. I don't think I did anything to warrant that. The only thing I can think of maybe is once I said that I don't like morning sex. That's not a big deal. That doesn't mean that I'm not sex positive. I just don't think you should do something that disgusting in the morning. Not whilst the blackbird is singing his morning tune. But I went on the website. It was late at night. I just ordered the first one on the list because I thought that would be good. That would probably be quite nice. The thing that arrived is so terrifying. It plugs directly into the wall. It has one of those on the end of it. It uses mains electricity. It needs to be pat tested. I just find that so threatening, because I think what that's basically saying is, what I'm about to do to you couldn't possibly be done with a battery. I'm going to need that same stuff that powers your fridge. It's huge. It's bigger than this. It looks like a piece of farming equipment from the Industrial Revolution. But it's called a wand. There is nothing magical about it. I've never seen this type of vibrator before. All the vibrators that I've seen advertised online are very small and portable, and they're not making big claims. They're just happy to live in your bedside drawer, and they'll be there like, okay, girl, I'm here if you need me. Like, if you and your partner get, like, super, super drunk one night, maybe you could experiment with me for a little bit. Honestly, I might not do anything, but I might speed things along for you a little bit. Either way, no worries if not. Whereas my vibrator is just next to the bed like, do you want to meet God? Not really. It doesn't even fit in the bedside drawer. It's just curled up on the floor like a python. And after it arrived, I was like, is this the right thing? Because I checked on the website, because I thought maybe it got mixed up with like an order meant for Guantanamo Bay. It was the right thing. Not only that, I read the description for the first time. It said in the description, this is the world's most powerful vibrator. I don't think I need that. I need absolute max, a whisper on the wind. The world's most powerful vibrator. You shouldn't be able to buy that without a license. Underneath as well, it said, the vibrator will turn off automatically after 20 minutes for your safety. 21 minutes and there's a danger of death. I don't even want to share. It cost £90. So I felt like I had to try it because I spent so much money. And I don't even have a plug next to my bed. I had to get the extension cable. That felt desperate. I turned it onto the lowest setting. It had 8 settings. I turned it onto setting 1. It was so loud. I was like, there's nothing private about this experience. The neighbours are going to think I'm having a new kitchen put in. At midnight, they're going to call the council. Well, no, they're not calling anyone. They don't have any power right now. I tried it just for like 1, maybe 2 seconds, and I was like, I can smell burning. I can't use this thing. It's going to sand me down. It's going to erode. I'm going to be flat over. There'll be nothing left like Barbie. But it had 8 settings. I thought, I have to see what setting 8 does. Not on myself. I know my limits. I just turned it up to setting 8 in the sky. Fuck me. I was like, I'm going to rip a hole in the space-time continuum.
American consumerism is based on just taking out late-night ads and pretending that you're mentally deficient. Just screaming at the top of your voice. Come on down to Wally's World of Mortgages. That's right, we've got mortgages. I'm crazy. The boss left with the keys. I'm by the safe. I don't even work here. We're going to give you a mortgage. Even if you never heard of the word mortgage, come on down here, we're going to give you one. Can't pay us back, won't pay us back, we don't give a shit. Even if you're a trailer park crack whore popping babies out of your womb like self-rising biscuits, come on down here now, you're a homeowner. People will take advantage of that guy. He seems nuts. It's the Ad Crunch Spectacular, whole infomercial devoted to the biggest piece of shit ever perpetrated on the public. It's the Ad Crunch Spectacular. You can have a washboard stomach in 12. Who needs a washboard stomach? Gonna play hillbilly bluegrass music right off your stomach there? It's shit! Hi, I'm Chuck Norris. I used to pummel vaguely Middle Eastern-looking guys for a living. Now I'm selling this piece of shit Velcro nailed to an old ski. Flip it over, it's a canoe. Turn it inside out, it's a lady's evening dress. It's shit! You can have it by tomorrow. Of course you can, because it's a big piece of shit. That's what we do in America. We make lots of crap, but we deliver it really, really fast. Good things come to those who wait, but shit pretty much shows up right away, doesn't it? Pick up the phone. I like the Ad Crunch, bing bong. That was fast. Wacka, 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 wacka. I'd love to tell you things are better in America, ladies and gentlemen, but, you know, I don't really know. It's, we have a fantastic president, but most Americans just want to see his birth certificate. Show us your birth certificate, Obama. Because, you know, I know there was I watched the elections here, and I kind of watched them. I kept an eye on them. I didn't get the full brunt of it. Basically, I left the country for a while. Gordon Brown was in charge. I came back. Now, apparently, the country's being led by 2 gay antiques dealers. I don't know how that happened. But at least they're getting along. As Americans, let me explain it to you. There's 2 parties in America. You probably know this. There's Republicans and Democrats. The Republicans are called the red states. Democrats are the blue states. The blue states are generally either on the West Coast or on the Atlantic seaboard. So basically, Democrat is anyone who's seen water. So if you go to America, find a Republican and take him to the beach. And even the Republicans hate each other now. So they have a splinter group called the Teabaggers, the Tea Party, Teabaggers, whose leader, of course, is Sarah Palin, future presidential candidate, who spent 2 years governing 8,000 square miles of snow and would occasionally nip out at lunch to blow the head off a moose from 300 yards away. That's presidential material. Another woman who's moved to the forefront, running for a senator from Delaware, named Christine O'Donnell, who's running on a platform of anti-masturbation. She actually wants to make masturbation illegal. I give that law 6 minutes. Because the Bible says it's wrong. These are exact words. Well, if my husband has figured out how to please himself, why am I in the picture? I got news for you. You're not. No man ever whacked one out of the ballpark thinking of his wife, ladies and gentlemen. You'd be thinking of anything. You'd be thinking of a 300-pound Bavarian milkmaid strapped over a barrel, or you banger with a kayak paddle wearing a Burger King paper crown and making a call you Mr. King Big Daddy Spanky Bottom. As you're about to shoot a ropey parabola of man jizz onto her ham-hock buttocks, David Hasselhoff walks in dressed as a Luftwaffe pilot and says you've got a tax refund coming. And if that's That's wrong. I don't want to be right.
One of the major good things that's come out of it is how we've embraced new technology, isn't it? Because it's just unbelievable. Who knew what Zoom was 2 years ago? None of us. Like last week, I had to do a speed awareness course online. Now, you should be doing that on something called Zoom, but that's the world we're in now. It's the world we're in. I've got a phone that can recognise my face. That already makes it better than my nan. Come on! I embrace new technology. I do, because could you imagine if this pandemic had happened like 30 years ago? No internet, no Zoom, no Pornhub. I don't know why I looked at you, sir, but I did. Because I think we've forgotten, here in 2021, we've forgotten what really being bored feels like. Like proper bored. My friend's little boy said the other day he gets bored waiting for an app to load. Fuck off, mate. That is not boredom, is it? I'm talking Sunday afternoon in the 80s. That was boredom. When it was raining, you'd read every book in the house. I grew up in Maidstone. That's a Mills and Boon and an Argos catalogue. Your mum's watching something black and white on the only telly in the house, so you listen to your Walkman for a bit, but the batteries are dying, so Madonna's Like a Virgin sounds like Barry White singing it. You can't go and buy more batteries, can you? You can't, because all the shops are shut. And I mean, all the shops are shut, even the petrol stations are shut, and then when you think your day can't get any more tedious, your dad would go, get in the car, everyone, we're going to go and visit someone. That's what we do, isn't it? On a Sunday afternoon in the 80s, we would visit people for no reason other than to ruin their day. Do you know what? Young people don't believe this when you tell them. We never told them we were coming. Could you imagine doing that to someone today? They'd be livid, wouldn't they? We used to spend every Sunday with people wishing that they'd hoovered and we'd fuck off, didn't we? I'm right on that. The only people who phoned ahead in the 1980s were the IRA. Fact. I wouldn't be a teenager now, though, would you? I wouldn't be a teenager now. When I think of the things I did when I was a teenager, the thought of that being on the internet forever, it makes me feel physically sick. It does. The way they have to communicate with each other is something I just can't understand. You know, sexting. I couldn't write a sext. I don't know what to put in a birthday card. When I was a teenager, if I wanted to leave a sexy message for a boy, I'd have to ring his landline and leave a message with his mum. Into what, dear? All over your what? Different times, isn't it? Different times. There was a boy I fancied at school. I couldn't text him to write him a note, stick it in his school bag. And I'd make him a mixtape. Write him a poem. That's all we had, didn't we? I genuinely think a 14-year-old girl today, she would be more freaked out if you sent her a poem than if you sent her a picture of your knob. Poem would freak her out more. She'd be with her friends going, I mean, it was like a song, but it wasn't a song. And there was no cock in it. Not even a bollock, no. Different times, you know. Different. Apparently, young people today, they are most likely now to have their very first sexual experience online. Do you know that? By FaceTime or Skype. They're not even in the same room. You've got one teenager in this house on their phone and the other teenager in this house on their phone, and that's how they're having their first sexual experience. And I just think, do you know what? Getting fingered behind a caravan at a fairground is not ideal. But at least I was getting some fresh air.
There's other younger people in the room, right? You know what I mean. You have only ever known a time in your life when you're trying not to get pregnant or trying not to get somebody else pregnant. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but on both accounts, I fucking smashed it. I think it comes down to skill set at the end of the day, doesn't it? People are just good at different things. Some people are good at the violin. Some people are good at parallel parking. I was very good at taking the pill. Every day, every day, every day. Honestly, I used to think I was so good at taking the pill, I deserved a reward. Arguably, there was a reward. It was the reward of not having to watch Peppa Pig or cleaning up another human's shit. Tell you what I don't understand, right, is women who are on the pill and forget to take it. Don't get that. Because don't get me wrong, I forget things. I forget my keys, my wallet, the fact I'm married. Sure! But forgetting to take something that can prevent you from creating a human that could one day say, turn the machines off, is what she would have wanted. I'm going to remember that one, thank you. Obviously does happen though, women forget to take the pill, they get knocked up. Happened to a girl I used to work with actually, when I used to work in an office, right? And we were chatting about it one day. She was so blasé, we're in the kitchen. She's just standing there rubbing her belly like, well, the thing is, I've just got really bad memory. I was thinking, that's funny, because every day without fail, you remember to steal my milk. Maybe if you'd strapped your packet of microgynon to my semi-skimmed... Stephen in accounts wouldn't be telling everyone how you trapped him. But I think the reason I was always very good at remembering to take the pill, because I've been on it for so long. I was on it since I was about 16. And the reason I started taking it was because I was going out with my first boyfriend, Kevin Sutherland. A boom, chicka, wow, wow. He was quite the catch. He had a Peugeot 106 and a tattoo of Bart Simpson, which I thought showed a great joie de vivre. And things were going very well between Kevin and I. We had matching bracelets from Argos, so you can tell how serious we were. And we'd agreed that we were going to do it for the first time, right? So I was like, right, I'll put myself on the pill because my first time is going to be really special. My first time is going to be just like in the movies. So the big day arrived, and Kevin, bless him, he made such an effort for everything to be really perfect. Like, he paid his little brother to leave the room. To this day, the most romantic thing a man has ever done for me. And he made a mix CD of all of our favourite romantic songs. You know, like Boom, 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 Let Me Hear You Say Wayo. And as we lay down on his single bed, with his Liverpool FC duvet cover on it, the scent of Lynx Africa heavy in the air. And as Kevin took my virginity so beautifully and gently and quickly from behind, I remember thinking, wow, just like in the movies. Obviously, it's quite difficult to make eye contact in that position, isn't it? Almost felt like I lost my virginity to Stephen Gerrard. I'll never walk alone. I never will.
People ask me all the time, so Rich, how did you end up becoming a comedian? And I always say, why do you say end up, like I made a mistake? It's kind of a polite conversation you have with a tramp. So fella, how'd you end up in a skip? It's the most fantastic job in the world, right? You make people laugh, you fella, with all that stress on your face. Look at you, sit in the front row trying to get the jokes before anyone else. How desperate are you for comedy, my friend? Well, you people, bricks, but... Oh, I'm sorry, what? I wasn't expecting a response. Do you work?
I'm a student.
A student, all right. No more questions, Your Honor. It's very easy, no heavy lifting. Yeah? Why don't you think about being a comedian? What are you studying?
History.
History. That goes back a long time, doesn't it? Why don't you try American history? A couple hundred years. Boom, you're done. Listen, here's the thing, all right? You just say intelligent things stupidly. That's all there is to being a comedian. Or maybe it's stupid things intelligently. It's not rocket surgery. I'll tell you that right now. That's what I get asked all the time. So I bet you were the class clown. Were you the class clown? Screw you. Why would you suggest I took a childhood disorder and turned it into a career, you prick? No one ever says to a hooker, were you the class whore? I bet you were the class whore, weren't you? Let the mystery be. I love watching Brits snap. That is the greatest thing in the world. When a Brit snaps, you don't even know they've snapped. It's not like Americans who take out 8 or 9 people with a high-powered rifle because they're social animals. Brits snap and you go, 2 hours later thinking, I think that guy snapped while I was talking to him. At that point where he crushed the pint glass with his hand, he was a bit pissed off. That's why when it comes to a war on terror, something we invented, the war on terror, because Brits would never have a war on terrify, because what's not terrifying to Brits? Everything. They just don't show it, right? Brit, you've had giants plucking your daughters out of villages a couple thousand years ago. Look that one up, history boy. It's true. So the basic British reaction to anything terrifying is this. How much is this going to cost? You can't really terrify. That's why I'm pretty sure the war, the whole terrorism thing, I think the terrorists have just kind of given up on Britain, because what can they possibly do, right? Listen, I would never compare the scopes of tragedy of, say, the World Trade Center to the bombs that blew up in London, but the reaction is completely different, right? America still has this entire culture of fear about terrorism. It's basically manifests itself by terror alerts being scrolled across the bottom of the TV screen by color. No explanation whatsoever. Just today's terror alert is orange. Now back to our show. What the hell was that? What does that mean? Orange, that's hunting accidents, roadworks, right? That's not good. It means be very, very aware of terror. So dwell on it now and then. Whereas in Britain, they blow up the buses in London, next day people are back at the bus stop waiting for the bus, right? And complaining about it because they're Brits. Bus is late. I mean, it's late. The one yesterday blew up. Yeah, well, that was yesterday. Today's today. I live in the present and the bus is late. That's why when you watch a Brit snap, right, you got to get really close to them. They'll pick a high street and just corkscrew for a while. That's... Not even knowing what direction to... What direction is corkscrew anyway? This is bullshit. And then you get too close and then you get sucked into the vortex, right? Are you okay? That moment when a Brit truly snaps, and it looks like this. I'm going to write a letter. That's it. I've been pushed to the brink, you bastard. Nobody treats me like this, you son of a bitch. Huh? I'm not emailing this, I'm writing this. Wait till you get that tomorrow. Big red pillar box right in the mail. Postal strike.
I used to be not exactly ashamed of my blackness, but I never wanted to do anything that could be seen as stereotypically black, and it followed me all my life. So when I was younger, when I was at school, if I was ever in PE and a basketball would come flying at top speed towards my face, instead of catching that basketball in the air, dribbling it towards the nearest net and slam dunking the thing, as I naturally would, I just let it hit me in the face and roll away. When I got older, I made a lot of friends, mainly white friends, and we started going to the club. Are you familiar with the club? Not the club, the club. At the end of the street. Whenever I went to the club and I was dancing with a group of friends, I would deliberately dance less well on purpose. So that the white people wouldn't be intimidated. There'd always be one other black person in the corner of the room, arms folded, looking at me like, you're disrespecting yourself. When meanwhile, I'll be in the middle of the dance floor just moving like Miley Cyrus. I tried so hard. I tried so hard to pass as white. I did all the white things. I bought pesto. I said tissue. And I got really dangerously into Jamie T. I am talking about the era of Jamie T, Pete Doherty, Jack Pignati, Jedward. I spent my late teens, arguably the sexiest part of one's teens, just sort of lusting over these gurning predators. Like, imagine more me, you'll be at a house party with an edgy white boy and he'd have the whole edgy boy starter kit. He'd have the skinny jeans, roly fag, unacceptable BO. He'd be talking always about one of his two favourite subjects, which is always either dubstep or himself. And you'd be sitting on the windowsill and finally you'd pluck up the courage to just cut him off mid-anecdote, put your hand on his shoulder, look him in the eye and be like, mate, I love you. And then he'd look at you, and you'd look at him, and you'd lean in for a kiss, and then he'd just sort of thumb MDMA into your mouth. And after that was it, you were like, wow! I think he really likes me. white guys. I spent half my life lusting after unsuitable white guys. Have we got any white guys in? Come on, guys, cheer louder. We know how much you get paid. Because you are everywhere. You're in the White House, you're in the big banks, you're in all the fancy court cases, you're killing it. Sometimes literally. But I don't want anyone to think I'm having a go because I genuinely adore white guys. Love your work. Ed Sheeran, amazing. I haven't got anything against white men apart from, obviously, everything it is that they've done. Some of my best friends. Some of my best friends are white men. My mother is a white man.
This is true, this. Does anyone know? I fail my test. Can anyone tell me what happens, right? If you're on your driving test and an animal ran out in front of the car, what are you supposed to do? Supposed to run it over. That's the right answer. They say anything else is a danger to other road users. I'm on my test. Everything's going great. Suddenly, this goat ran out in front of the car. So I remembered what he said, and I kept driving. A few seconds later, I look in my rearview mirror. The goat is fine. I've missed him by millimetres. Now, obviously, I didn't want to fail my test. So I slapped it in reverse like that. But I must have been chasing that little fucker through that field for 45 minutes before I ran over his head, and he still failed me. Where's the justice in that? You actually look a bit like my driving instructor, madam. With those fantastic specs and that hair. You've gone for the old Eric Morecambe meets Demi Moore look, haven't you? That's fantastic. Actually, lend me those glasses for a second. Just, you do. What's your name, madam? Lyndall. Where are you from? Mordor? Lyndall. My name is Lyndall. Are you searching for a ring? That's Australian. Oh, fantastic. I'm not going to take the mickey out of the Australians. You're the same as us, aren't you? Different pronunciations, you know. You say yogurt, we say yoghurt. You have prawns on the barbie, we have yoghurt. You use KY jelly. It's yoghurt, I'm not explaining them all. You say BYO, we say good guess. The question was, how do you spell boy? Arsenal. What do you do for a living? Are you a welder? It's true, actually, my driving instructor wore glasses. This is the other reason she failed me as well. We're driving down the road. She said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap my hand on the dashboard. I want you to make an emergency stop as though a small child has stepped out in front of the car. Before he could put his belt on, or she, doesn't matter because I'm making it up, right? Before the person could put their belt on, right, I hit my brakes like that, and he hit his head full on the window like... I'm just showing off now. Oh, bad job! Hey! Hey! Then he turned around to me and said, why don't you wait till I slap my hand on the dashboard? I said, there's a child's life at stake here. I haven't got time to mess about with games, mate. Oh, sorry, you didn't see any of that, did you? No, sorry. You were just sat there, weren't you, going, what's he doing? What's that noise? Has he got a kind face?
I was going to be a doctor, got as far as A-level biology, and we had to cut open a rat. Remember that? You had to cut open a rat, and I discovered I couldn't stand the sight of blood or anything vaguely biological. Just had to switch it up. was like, Mum, I had to tell my mum the doctor thing wasn't going to work out, but it was all right. I said, I'm going to be an engineer. And my mum was like, engineer? It is on the list? Okay. And then she turns to my younger brother, you will be the doctor. And that's how it ran in my family. She wasn't impressed when I decided to become a comedian. That conversation didn't go very well because I was an engineer. I worked as an engineer for years. I used to work for Otis, repairing lifts. That's what I did. And my mum was proud. Yes, my daughter, she's an engineer. And then I left that and decided to become a comedian. My mum was not impressed. She's like, comedy. Comedy? What the hell is comedy? I'm going to tell my friends in Nigeria, My daughter is a clown. But luckily for me, within 6 months of starting comedy, I got on this talent show called The Big, Big Talent Show, hosted by Jonathan Ross. Got on this show. So I called my mum. I was like, Mama, I got through to this big talent show. It's going to be on TV. I'm through the quarterfinals. And my mum was like, oh, yeah, that's good. Very good. Interesting. Very good. Call me when you get to the final. I'm not interested in this quarterfinal, semi-final rubbish. Call me for the final. So sure enough, I got through to the final, filmed live on television, live. Jonathan Ross is hosting, and my mum comes down with her entourage, because my mum does not travel without a Nigerian entourage. So I do my set. Jonathan Ross is interviewing me after my set, and he sees my mum in the audience, which was not hard to spot. It was literally white people, white people, white people, and then a bank of African royalty just... So Jonathan points to my mum and he goes, is that your mum? That Gina's mum is in the audience. And I swear to God, my mum stood up like this. Yes, that is right. I am the reason the clown is here. I am the reason. I always knew she was going to be a clown. When she was 3, I bought her the big shoes. So my mum only comes out for the big shows. She only comes out for the big shows. And in fact, my mum is here tonight. Where's my mum? Where's my mum? Where's my mum over there? She's here. Where's your mum? Oh, look at her, standing up. Look at her, there she is. All right, you can sit down now, mum. You can sit down now, mum. This is my show, mum. It's my show. It's my show.
The time. You may be thinking, oh, she's hard of hearing. That's why she has that voice. No. I want you to know, no, I don't. It has nothing to do with the hard of hearingness. It's just an extra. Just a kiss on my forehead from God himself. Just an extra. I live with, this is my all the time voice. This is my sex voice. This is my sex voice. It is, I have sex, I go, oh, I love that. I do. I go, oh, can you do that but slower? That's what I say. That's what I say. I say that during sex. I want you to know I do have sex. I want you to know that. I know if I say it, it makes it sound like I don't have sex, but I have sex. Okay, I have sex with people, and people have sex with me. And it's the truth. It's just what happened. I have sex. I just do. It took me a long time to get started having sex because I come from a Latin American mom. And my mom used to talk about my vagina every day, but only in metaphor. My mom, she'd say stuff like, she'd be like, Lara, nobody wants to buy a lock that can be opened by every key. Lara. She'd be like, Lara, nobody wants to buy an apple that's been bitten by someone else. Lara. She'd be like, Lara, if you give them sex too soon, they won't stay with you forever. Lara. That one's pretty straightforward, not really a metaphor, that last one. Pretty straight to the point. That's kind of what she meant with the whole thing. It took me a long time to get started because of that. And I live in the Netherlands. 6 years now I live there. It's great. It's good. I live now with my partner, an Argentinian guy, Fernando. Okay. We live together. I love him. I brought him over, actually, from Argentina. We met in Argentina, and then I brought him over to live in the Netherlands on my back, me, him, and a donkey. It took 3 days and 3 nights. Long and arduous, but we made it. We made it. Now we live together there. It's good. I love him. He has no sense of smell. What a good disability to have in a partner, if I may. The best disability to have in a partner. Because as a partner, you can be nasty. You can. You can be as nasty as you want all of the time. Of course, not good to be nasty because then you have to live in the nasty as well. And that part you forget about. You forget. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, I can fart while I eat. But then you have to eat in a fart, and no one wants, like, if you can choose to not eat in a fart, maybe better to just eat in clean air. You might be thinking, oh, but Lara, what about the sound, you deaf-ass bitch? Don't call me that. It offends my family. I actually will have you know, if you must, that my farts do not have sound. They don't. It's not a tree fell in the forest situation. I can't hear them. Joke's on me. Haha. No. My farts actually do not have any sound. They do not have any sound because I have what's called a butt cheek gap. You know about this? A BCG for short. It means my arse cheeks don't touch. They just don't touch each other. I have a gap. A gap between my... And we all know, famously, most of the sound from farts comes from the stress of the air trying to get through the cheeks. You know about this. I Googled it, it's the truth. If the air is trying to get through, this is my impression of most people's farts. And this is my impression of my farts. Come straight out because I have a butt cheek gap, which means I can fart while I eat if I want to. I don't, but I want you to know that I can.
I was such a fat kid. My mother used to buy bathing suits with blowholes in them. It was just... But my parents... I don't want to go into my childhood here because it's wrong. My parents hated me, okay? We're all going to hear the story, aren't we? Well, my parents hated me too. My parents, all I ever heard growing up is, why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Sheila had died at birth. They just hated me. Whenever we would go like in front of a street, each parent would take my hand, hold our hand, we're crossing the street, and then they'd swing me into the traffic. They used to say, take candy from strangers. Ask the funny man in the raincoat, does he own a van? It is just... No, I had a very bad childhood, and that's because, and I'm sure none of you give a damn, but I was the only Jewish kid, this is the absolute truth, growing up in an all-Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's? The Irish people. Only Jewish kid in a Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's like? You were all doing Hail Marys, I was doing Hail Murrays. I mean, it was just... No Christmas tree? No Christmas tree. Do you know what that's like when you're the only kid without a Christmas? Because everybody has Christmas trees. And nowadays, it's like, well, we do it for all faiths. That's such bullshit. Yeah, we walk into an office building, and there's a Christmas tree, and there's a menorah. Bullshit. The Christmas tree goes up, 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 up. There's like a little shitty menorah with 2 orange lights that some angry Puerto Ricans lit backwards. I mean, yes. Juan, you lit those lights backwards. Fuck you, you killed our Lord. I mean, it is just... So, I'm at the age where I figure, screw it, I'm gonna have a Christmas tree. I got the biggest Christmas tree I got a 2-story high Christmas tree. I put everything you could think of on that. Up, 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 gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. On the bottom, I got the manger. I got the whole goddamn thing going there. The wise men, the sheep. The only thing is, I have the baby, but I'm Jewish. I got him a nanny. It was just, oh yes. And I redressed Mary. She didn't look good. That stupid thing over her head, come on. I put her in a Chanel suit. Manolo Blahniks, and a Louis Vuitton pocketbook. You're the mother of God. Look it. It is just... Am I wrong? If she had looked like that, she would have gotten into the inn. Yes. The point is, it's about looks. Mary, she looked good, she would have done better. Mother Teresa, oh, don't give me, oh. Mother Teresa, if she had looked better, she'd be a saint by now. Was she a bow wow? Yes. Did she need electrolysis? Let's talk to each other here. Even lepers were throwing their fingers at her. Here, get away. Because it is all about looks. This is my message, Great Britain. This is my message. Looks count. Education, looks count. I have no sex appeal, and it has screwed me up for life. Peeping Toms look in my window, pull down the shade. You have no idea. My gynecologist examines me by telephone. It is just...
I actually haven't been well recently. Oh, stop it, honestly, I don't want to talk about it. But if you insist, I really haven't, though, so that's why I'm delighted to get here today. I was rushed to A&E recently with terrible abdominal problems, just hideous pains all up and down my tummy and around my sides, and I was rushed to A&E. And for about 3 hours, I thought, and anyone here who ever read a magazine as a teenager will know what I mean, especially the girls. I thought that I was about to have a surprise baby. Do you know the way there's those stories in the magazine going, well, everything was normal, nothing was different, everything was regular. Well, then I went to the toilet, and I looked in the toilet, and there was a baby in the toilet. And I had a surprise baby. There was always that, and that's when I thought it was. But you'll be happy to know that actually it was, I'm bringing sexy back, a gut infection. A gut infection. But the worst part of the whole situation was that the doctor in A&E was really, really handsome. And I think doctors who are handsome should be struck off. I really do. I wanted someone with a sort of mashed potato head that I could feel at one with. But instead, this man was really handsome. He said to me, what seems to be the problem? And I was like, well, doctor, my problem is that I'm too cute. Cheers me. I mean, how could I tell him that I thought I was having a surprise baby or else I was waiting for a poo? I mean, you couldn't, you know... And once we find out which one it is, do you want to go for a drink? It's really quite terrible. But by the way, you might notice that I talk quite fast. And if I'm honest, it's not really going to slow down too much, so you'll have to sort of jump on the Venga bus of enthusiasm and beep the horn with this one. I think that the reason I talk quite fast is because I was brought up in the countryside, in the deepest, darkest countryside, where there was no one for miles and miles around. Just this giant expanse of land with no one to talk to. And it was very, very lonely. You'd have no one to speak to during the day. I mean, a very backwards existence, lads. Like, our clothes are made of mud. Our hats were made of leaves. We had no access to things like pot noodles. We just had to sort of pour boiling water on top of birds' nests if we didn't feel like cooking one evening. A really backwards existence. And crows everywhere. Crows. In the city, there's pigeons everywhere, but in the countryside, there's crows everywhere. And it makes everything you do seem really ominous. You'd open the window and it'd be like, wah, 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 wah. Well, that seems a bit ominous. You know, you'd be standing innocently over a dead body in a field. Oh, God, this all seems a bit ominous. But the reason that I think I talk quite fast is because I'd have no one to talk to during the day. And so some days, the only person you'd have to talk to would be a passing car flying along the road. So you had to learn to talk fast if you wanted to talk to anyone. You'd be like, hi, how's it going? Oh my God, come back and talk to me. Do you like my new dress? Stay and be my friend. This sort of thing. Some days you'd be waiting for a tractor to come along, because you get more time out of a tractor, you see. You get to talk to them for longer. You'd be like, hi, how's it going? Do you like Sesame Street? I like Sesame Street. Oh, you do like Sesame Street. Sometimes I think Big Bird might not be a big bird, but he might just be a man in a suit. I know it sounds bad, but I have my suspicions. Goodbye, come back.
Here at the sink, right? And I've put a little thing here. It's like a bean tin, but it's got holes in it. So you put the cutlery in there, And it's all together then, you're not chasing it round, and the water comes out of the holes, so you just take it away, right? I watch them washing up, reach past this thing, they can see it, it's there. They would have to be blind in this eye and looking that way not to be able to see it. They travel the extra distance to lay the cutlery flat on the side. And I mean all the cutlery, including teaspoons, and not that way round. So that a little pool of shitty water dribbles down into the teaspoon so that it looks like it's already got soup in it. And then they'll walk over to the cutlery drawer, and all I ask, you just put the cutlery away however you like, as long as it's forks on the left, knives in the middle, spoons on the right. Teaspoons on the bottom, facing to the left, steak knives on the far left. You can't fit the steak knives in the ordinary knife rack, they're too long. It's just, they have to go in there. Lovely, sexy steak knives they are. Sexy jet black handle and a long serrated knife. They'll be putting it away, and they'll put some away, right? They go, oh yeah, they're going there, don't they? And then they just think, oh, bored of this. Doing it right. I'm going to put this one in the knife rack. And then I'm going to take the paring knife, and I'm going to put the paring knife in there as if they look anything alike. Fat, horrible grey handle on the paring knife. No serration on the blade. Little fat, stubby blade. And I think, how have you done that? But the only consolation I get is it's okay, because that's the one I'm going to kill them with. I'm going to grab that knife and I'm going to sneak up to their room in the middle of the night. I'm going to go, hello, it's the fairy, and he's tooled up. I'm going to stab you now with this steak knife. You know, that's actually a paring knife. So you do know the difference! The reason that I need to be a better person is because I finally decided I think I want to have kids, right? It's taken me a long time. And what turned me was a really tiny thing. I watched a woman near where I live pushing a pram with two sort of toddler-aged children in. And all I heard her say as she walked past, she went, well, cars aren't allowed to turn right all the time. Sometimes they have to go straight on. That was it. And I thought, my God, I want kids. Imagine being in the company of people to whom you could say a sentence that tedious. And their response will be, you blow my mind. So there's a road, but they're not allowed to turn into it. That is... So what, do they just move house to the end of the road then, do they? If you turn right twice, you'll end up back on that road. And why aren't you Prime Minister? I don't... You know everything. You're an incredible person. So I really want kids, but I can't have kids because I can't inflict myself on a child. Because I don't know what the line is between telling a child when it's doing something wrong so that it learns to do better and accepting that children can't do everything properly. I don't think I would draw that distinction. I think I would just always tell them that they were doing something wrong to the point of breaking their souls immediately. Oh, you're doing some colouring in, are you? Ah. I just wonder why you're carrying on with that, because you've got out of lines, haven't you? It's ruined. It's never going to be perfect now, is it? You might as well start again. Because it's not going on the fridge like that.
Tommy, did I get unlucky? What would be, I know you're a builder, not an electrician, but you can still answer this question. What would be your absolute record in a row for not turning up when you promised you would?
4.
4. God bless your honesty. Because my electrician, did I get unlucky? Because 14 times he didn't turn up when he promised he would, right? 14 times, incidentally, where I sat on my ass watching shit daytime television. No offence, Tommy, right? But... I sat on my ass twiddling my thumbs watching shit daytime television. Presumably he did exactly the same thing round at his house. But then he finally came, right? And this is, have you ever seen anything this incompetent, right? Because I'm 43, and I've sort of, I've travelled the world, I've seen a thing or two, but I have never seen anything this shit. I've never seen anything this incompetent in any area of life, right? Because this electrician came, and he fitted what do you call, double plug sockets. He fitted 15 of those, right? 15 of them, all around the lounge in the dining room. 13 of them, Tommy, are awesome. Awesome, some of the finest plug sockets you'll ever see in your life. Beautiful pieces of work. 2 of them, however, are upside pissing down, right? How is that even possible? How have you ever seen? I've never seen an upside down plug. Literally, the switch is at the top. You push it in. Half the light switches are on the wrong way round as well, right? But I thought I can live with that. I was going to complain about that until I saw the plug sockets. I'll leave it go, right? Because it's not the end of the world. Some of them are on when they're up, some of them are on when they're down, or whatever. It's a bit inconvenient, but they all still work until you come to change a light bulb, and then it's Russian roulette, frankly, right? I let it go. I let the light switches go. We've all seen that before, right? But I've never seen upside down sockets, so I rang him, right? And the conversation I had with my electrician is in my anger management diary, right? This is the conversation with my electrician because he's put 2 plug sockets upside down in our lounge. I rang him, right? This is the electrician. I rang him. I said, "Oh, this is a bit awkward, but you seem to have fitted 2 of the plug sockets upside down." Do you know what he said, Tommy? "Are you sure?" I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, let me just check. Oh, hang on, my girlfriend's just come in. Her head seems to be roughly the same height as mine. Her eyes are above her mouth, and when we drop things, they fall towards our feet. We seem to be the right way up, mate. This is a genuine question from my electrician, Tommy. A genuine question. Would you prefer them all the same way up, would you? I think I would. I'm sorry, I'm old school. What can I say? I can't help it. And he's always on the front foot. He's one of those people, he'll never take a criticism, this guy, right? Because he's like, "What do you want me to do about it?" He's on the phone. "What do you expect me to do about it?" I said, "Well, it seems to me you've got 2 choices, right? One involves you popping back to the house and turning the 2 sockets round, right? And the other one involves you trying to persuade the entire world to start living upside down, doesn't it?" I should point out, if you do decide to go down that second route, it could actually involve a lot more work for you in the long run, right? Because once you've travelled the world spreading the topsy-turvy gospel according to St. Pissing Nutjob the Inverted, right? You'll have to bounce back here on your head and redo the 13 sockets you put on the right way down in the first place.
I wanted to tell you this because, as I'm saying, I am dating a lot of older guys, but I also realize, as much as I say that I am 40, I know I don't look 40, right? So I get a lot of guys who are talking to me who are like 27, 28, and I can't get over the fact that, like, when I was 18, you were 6. Like, I can't do that. It's so weird, right? But he's talking, he's like stepping up to me, and I'm like, I don't even get how this works. Like, if we hook up, do I have to drop you off at school tomorrow? Like, how does this work, right? So I'll get talked to by guys who are like younger, and I think that a lot of you don't realize how much some of us women mean business, okay? So here's what I need you to do. Like, men in your 20s, if you are ever in a position of talking to a woman who appears to be at least 30 years old, okay, and you are not available, all right, you got a wife, a partner, a girlfriend, a fiance, whatever it is you have, you are not available, you need to let us know, all right? In the first 5 minutes, you gotta bring that bitch up, all right? Just be like, "My wife has a face as well." Like, whatever it is, just find a reason to bring her up, because yes, you will see the light of hope die in our eyes, but at least we'll know these are not the droids you're looking for, and we can move on, okay? Because we are not looking for friends, we're looking for partners. We are like sharks, we are on the move, all right? I was at a cast party for a show I was not in about a month ago, right? Because, like, basically my friend had done this show and she invited me to the party, and I was like, great, because I don't know any of these guys, but they're all coming down off of the high of finishing what they've done, and they're all gonna be depressed, and I'm gonna catch some sad dicks in my basket, yeah. I'm gonna get all these sad crying dicks, yes, right? It's a perfect place to pick up new people, right? So I go to this cast party, and I'm talking to the sound guy, right, for the show. And I love sound guys. I depend on sound guys, but I love tech guys because they just get business done and don't make a fuss about it. They're like, "Yeah, you're welcome, bye." Like, I love that, right? So I was talking to the sound guy, right? And he was like cute and geeky. And I talked to this guy for 45 minutes about the video game The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I held my own in that nerd-ass conversation for 45 minutes. I stumbled all the way down memory lane with this guy. And I was pretty proud of myself. 45 minutes of this talk. And I'm like, you know what? I think we're vibing. Like, I'm going to get his number. He's so cute. He's so funny. 45 minutes into this conversation, this guy goes, "Yeah, my wife always loved that game." And I was like, God damn it! Your wife? I have ovulated in the middle of this conversation. Your wife owes me an egg. Go run and tell that bitch that. You owe me an egg. Right? She'll be mad at your ass too when she comes. She's like, "Why did you tell her that? Now I gotta give this bitch an egg."
I sort of feel like if you've got enough money, you can sort of just pay somebody to diagnose away your shit personality. And I consider that money well spent, by the way. I would recommend it to you. Prick? No. I actually have bipolar disorder. That's why I've ruined your birthday. Poor me, actually. Now there's... I always thought there was a system. Like, adult ADHD has changed everything for me. I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought it was a childhood thing, but now there's adult ADHD, which has confused the whole process for me. I thought the process was that if you had a child who was shit, you would say that they had ADHD. And if that child who is shit grows up to be a shit adult, you would say that they had bipolar disorder. Footnote, I've been diagnosed with both, so don't write in, camera people. Anyway, a lot of people might suffer with mental illness, and that's, you know, it's a pervasive phenomenon. A lot of you might have depression. That's your sort of garden variety mental illness. That's your standard fare. And if you do have depression, my advice to you and the community at large would just be to keep it in there. Bottle it up. Whatever you do, don't tell me about it, because I don't care. I don't care if you're depressed. I'm bored of it. I just don't want to hear about it. And I just can't be... And also, it's just not a good thing. If you have depression, don't tell me, because as somebody who suffers with depression, you should know how pervasive depression is, that many people suffer with depression. So if you tell me that you have depression, that might make me depressed. And that doesn't really feel like a problem halved, does it? It doesn't. It's not, I just don't tell me about it. You know, depression is an economy based on resource scarcity. And what we've done now is we've flooded the market with depression, and it's lost all of its value, and I don't care if you're depressed. Depression is currently in its Weimar Republic era of hyperinflation. And we're all wandering around with wheelbarrows full of depression going, would you look at all of this depression? And I'm there going, that's actually not as much depression as it looks like. That won't even get you a loaf of sympathy down the shops these days. My friend said to me recently, with the confidence of a man saying something new, that's lovely. He said, I just think we need to talk more about male mental health. Oh my God, how could there possibly be time to talk about it any more than we already do? We are talking. I know that we all have different perspectives, different cultural backgrounds. I can see you, or feel you rather, like moving away from me. Okay, let's all keep lighthearted about this. I don't want to have to say only joking, given the context of what this is, okay?
I don't have a kid. I have a wife. That's a start, I suppose. I'm a very happily married man. I'm a man in love, actually. How many men here in love? A few of you. By the way, those of you who are here, any men who are here with women and you didn't react when I asked if you were in love, you have a very frosty journey home ahead of you. That's all I can tell you. That was a good show tonight, wasn't it? Did you not enjoy it? Well, I enjoyed it, but I was listening. You didn't seem to be listening. I was laughing. Well, the Irish guy asked you a direct question. Love is a funny thing. Being in love and falling in love are obviously two quite different things, aren't they? They both have their own merits. They both have their pros and their cons. Falling in love, for instance, is very exciting. I'll give you that. You never know what's going to happen next. Every time you see her, your heart beats faster. You touch her, you tingle, you can't get her out of your head. Falling in love, very exciting. And being in love is fine. So they both have their own merits, is what I'm trying to say there. You try and do things to keep the romance going, and if you're a bloke, that's your job. And if you're a woman, your job is to tell us if we're doing our job correctly. We try and do things to keep the romance going, but every now and again, ladies, you might do things that'll suck the romance back out again. Like ask us questions. Stop doing that. I don't mean questions like, where you been till now, who are you texting, what are you doing on the net at this hour? They're fair enough. I mean questions like, what are you thinking? Piss off with that question. What are you thinking? What is your obsession with what we're thinking? Can that be the one thing that remains exclusively mine? We share everything. The house, the bills, the friends. Can the content... No, I want that too. Come on. Why can't you women show us men the same courtesy and consideration we show you and not give a shit about what we're thinking? Why can't you do that? Because do you want to know the honest answer to that question? As soon as you say to your man, what are you thinking? Do you want to know what he's thinking? He's thinking, shit, better think of something to say, I've been thinking. That's what he's now thinking. Whatever he had been thinking before you asked that question, no matter how reasonable or innocent the thought was, it has gone now. Scuttled off into the corner of his brain in a panic to make way for all the little men that are now running around his head going, what are we thinking? She's asking! Quick, give me something to make it good. Somebody, you, what do you have? What do you have? She won't believe that in a million years. Come on, lads! You. That's not even a real place, for Christ's sake! What do you have? That's your sister. What are you trying to do to us? And the reason we panic is because we know the truth won't do. The truth, 95% of the time, is the word nothing. That won't do at all, will it? What are you thinking about? Nothing. You can't be thinking nothing. You have to be thinking something. Everyone has to be thinking something. Ladies, you should never underestimate a man's ability to be completely and utterly vacant. Seriously.
It's lovely to be here. I've come all the way from Brighton. Just in case you're wondering what this haircut is about. Might be a new face for some of you people. Don't panic, the BBC invited me here because they needed a beige lesbian. So I'm just here to tick some boxes. Not your box, madam, just a metaphorical box. I'm half Spanish, that's what's happening there. I've got a Spanish mum, and she lives here in the UK. It's all very legal. She's lived longer in the UK than she's ever lived in Spain, but the brilliant thing about my mum is that she's never lost her accent. She's done very, very good. Lost her words she cannot pronounce. Lost her words she cannot pronounce, huh? My favourite word that my mum's never been able to pronounce is my brother's name. Difficult name, his name's Stephen. I don't know if you've noticed this, Spanish people, any word that begins with the letter S, they struggle, right? So my mum doesn't call him Stephen, she calls him Steven. What's his name, Mum? Steven. Is it? Isn't it just Stephen? Even if I know his name is my son, it is Steven! You don't want to mess with my mum. She's not like British people here in this country. We can be quite passive-aggressive, can't we? She's just very aggressive woman. I don't know how my mum's never really coped in this country, and I think it's because, like a lot of Mediterranean people, she's quite loud, yeah? She's got one volume, it's like this. Whereas in this country, particularly if we're middle class, we tend to be low talkers, don't we? We don't like to raise our voices, do we? Why? Because we've got money. And we just assume that if you are raising your voice, well, you're probably poor. Or worse, foreign. great thing about having a Mediterranean mum is they feed you. Oh, my God. She's always feeding. That's her way of showing that she loves her children, is to feed us. You know, I can remember going around friends' houses, you know, like English mums. Go round an English mum's house and the conversation with mum's more like this. I think you've had enough. My mum will feed you till you puke. Anything can be going on in my life and my mum will relate it back to a meal that she's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so good or bad, particularly if I'm depressed. If I phone up my mum and I've had a terrible day, yeah? I phone up my mum, conversation always goes like this. Oh, Jennifer, my God, I'm so sorry to hear that you're having a hard time right now. But you know what? Don't worry, okay? I made a soup. Come home. You sound hungry. I made a chicken curry, made a lamb tagine, made a casserole, Jennifer. I made some tortillas, some paella, some curry, Jennifer. You love curry, maybe some meatballs, some pork ball, beef ball, aniseed ball, banana ball. You're a lesbian. You don't eat enough balls. Please, come home. Eat my balls.
Little request, if you know anybody who works for WhatsApp, just tell them to let us delete the message entirely, like it was never sent. Don't delete the message, but still write, Neil has deleted the message. Like a little telltale informer. So that your friend still texts you and goes, what was in that message that you deleted it? You know when it says delete for me or delete for everyone? Who picks? Just for me, and just go and delete it for me, yeah? Yeah, still want them to see the awful stuff I've written, but I don't want to be reminded of how much of a dick I can actually be, yeah. It's like getting a tattoo removed and walking into the laser place going, what are my options for tattoo removal? You got two options. First option, we shine a laser on your leg, remove the tattoo so no one will see the tattoo. What is my second option? We shine a laser in your eyes so you won't see the tattoo. I'm going for option number 2, please. Thank you very much. I bought a new phone. I fell for the ad. You can put the phone on somebody else's phone and you can wirelessly transfer the charge. And the company thinks people are going to use that. No one's going to use that. Your charge is the single most important thing in your life. Look at your friends. They would prefer to donate a kidney to a stranger than to give you 5% of their mobile phone charge. Have you ever been abroad? Yeah? You ever been abroad? You bring one adapter, one charger between you and your spouse. The UN level of negotiation involving getting the charger back from the person you love. Can I have the adapter, love? Can I have the charger? Can I have the adapter? Can I have the adapter? And they hit you with it. Absolutely, Neil. But what battery percentage do you have? And you look at the person you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with and you lie like a mofo, don't you? 3%, 2%, 0.5%. I've never even seen 0.5% in the mobile phone before, to be honest with you. Show me your phone, I'll plug it in for you. I can't show you my phone. Why can't you? I'm having an affair. How you hell having an affair? Show me your phone! We'll be in Spain. My wife will go and have a shower before we go out. She'll leave the bathroom door open and the shower door open. That is not an invitation to join her. You'll make that mistake once in your life, let me tell you that. It's because she doesn't trust you to not unplug her phone and plug your phone in. And she's right, because that's exactly what you do, isn't it? You plug her phone back in towards the end, so you got plausible deniability. You plug out my phone. I did not plug out your phone. It went up by 2% after a half an hour shower. That is because Spanish electricity is different. You plugged it in during the siesta and the wires were asleep. That's how it works here. If I talk to you in the front row, hope you know I'm just messing. You get great answers. I had a farmer at a gig once. I said, what do you do? He goes, I'm a sheep farmer. I said, I read recently sheep can recognise individual human faces. He went, well, as long as they can't give evidence, I should be. I had a South African man at a gig in Dublin once. I said, where are you from? Big blonde guy. He goes, Cape Town. I said, Cape Town is beautiful and warm and sunny. How did you end up in Dublin? He went, I got in the wrong container. The Irish guy, lovely fella, big guy, you know. Apparently we're going to be the most overweight country in Europe in a few years. And they tell us this like it's bad news. Oh, it's a catastrophe, it's a disaster. It's good news, ladies and gentlemen. Only 180 years after the worst famine in Western Europe. I call that a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. No one else has bounced back like we have. Those people in Pompeii just died. If they were Irish, they'd be selling lava lamps by now.
romantic, that's my problem. I love romance. Oh, I want to be in a relationship. I want to try edible pants. You can't edible solo, they don't let you. I'm absolutely fascinated by them. Here's why. It must be someone's job to keep edible pants from being too delicious. Because they've got to be okay in context, but there's a team of scientists that's working day in, day out to make sure that none of us start craving them. Struggle being single. I'm a pick-me girl. Do you guys know what that is? A pick-me girl is a type of woman who's like me. I'm not like the other girls. Why? Because I like live music. Shackle me. I do like live music. Like, sometimes I wonder if anyone's going to see the band Placebo thinking it was The Cure. So I do think about that stuff. Love live music. I went to see ABBA Voyage. Have you guys seen it? ABBA Voyage, if you haven't seen it, it's incredible. It's ABBA. They've got holograms now. But just before going into ABBA Voyage, I found out a little bit of industry gossip, and I'm going to share it with you because I was pissed off. ABBA, the band, they're not even dead. And they've got holograms, is it? You can't have holograms if you're alive. Hey, ABBA, go to work. ABBA Voyage, it's amazing. From start to finish, it's them at their best. They were 28 years old when they recorded it. Start to finish, them at their best. A bit like this. So, ABBA Voyage, at the end of ABBA Voyage, sometimes the real ABBA, they come out. But the problem is that at this point in your life, you've only known them as hot 28-year-olds. So when 76-year-old ABBA comes out, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like them. It looks like their parents have come to pick them up. I am a pick-me girl. I lie about my interests constantly, I do. My new thing now is I pretend to like football. Now, I want to like football. I really do. I really respect it as a sport. My problem is too much of it has happened. And no one will let me catch up. Like, everyone needs to stop playing for like 5 years, and then I'll start casual, season 1, episode 1. Now, the real reason I'm trying to get into football is because, basically, I met this guy. Thank you. And, oh my God. So he told me that he could have Do you guys know him? That's weird. He does have a lot of friends. He said he could have gone professional. But then, and this is so sad, just before the trials, he didn't have the skills. He didn't have the skills, the work ethic, or the natural talent. So close.
Liverpool has a strange relationship with Manchester as well. Is anybody in from Liverpool? All right, thought we might have priced you out. Not to worry. I love Liverpool. It's a beautiful city. And I remember when I first went over there, I support Manchester City, right? That's my football team. And I remember going over there in my Manchester City shirt, and I stopped this bloke at the train station. I said, "Listen, mate, I'm a bit lost. I'm trying to find the docks. Can you help us out?" And he turned around and he went, which is a word in Liverpool, right? Honestly, right? It means you're not welcome, right? You pick it up quick enough, right? Eventually he got to some sound, he went, "Hey!" because they're naturally witty, they're born with that, right? He said, what are you doing over there in Liverpool? I love him. I do. Now, at that stage, you're tempted to say calm down, but that makes things worse, right? You don't like that. I was very brave, though. I looked in the eye and said, listen, I asked you for directions, officer. You are bang out of order, mate. You can deal with it. But football, you know, has that problem, doesn't it? There's a lot of cities hate each other just because of the football. You know, I support City, and obviously Manchester United is our nearest club. And we've got the United fans in? Of course we have. We're in Hammersmith. There's always a United fan. Every gig I do, there's a United fan. They're like rats. You're only ever 3 metres away from one of the bastards. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go is a red. I love football, but I'm getting to this stage where I'm starting to dislike footballers. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, right? But these like multi-millionaires running around the pitch, you know, every 5 minutes. I've hurt myself. There was a bloke a few weeks back, he missed 3 Premiership games with a dead leg, right? Now, that's not an injury, is it, a dead leg, right? When I was a kid, I had 3 dead legs in one day once, right? And that was for free. I still have to do PE and walk home. That's not an injury, mate. My granddad's favourite footballer was a German goalkeeper called Bert Trautmann, right? Now, in the 1956 FA Cup final, does anyone know what happened to old Bert? He broke his neck. Look at you like the quiz team. Bang, straight in, no messing about. Good work. He broke his neck and carried on playing, right? That's how hard they were in the 50s. The metatarsal, not even invented in 1956. He just got up, carried on diving about with a wobbly head, right? Not bothered. Not bothered. Not these days. It's the fans keep shouting nasty things at us. Me up. It's right, isn't it? And I'm there in the crowd watching, thinking, do you know what? You're on 60 grand a week. If I think you're a knobhead, I'll tell you, right? And that's the way it should work, because if I was on that sort of money, I'd take it as well. Do you know what I mean? I'd stay an extra half hour at the end of the game just to take it. You're a knobhead? Yeah, I don't know. See you next week, lads. God bless. Yeah. Your mum's a knobhead. Yeah, but you should see her house. See you later.
When I found out that I was going to do this gig, I immediately put together a message and I pinged it out on our family WhatsApp group to my husband and my children, because that is the kind of rock and roll comic I am. And my son, my teenage son, wrote back to me at once, and his message said, "Thug life chose you, brah." And I was like, oh shit, my child has joined a gang. I mean, what kind of language is this? Thug and bra. It had 2 R's, but he's a terrible speller. And I was like, oh no. And the other thing is I thought, this message is not for me. This idiot has sent me a message by mistake, which is for a gang member. What if the next message is something much worse? And that really bothered me because, well, this was my moment. I am going to Apollo. Like, if I'm going to find out you're a criminal, can we do it next month? So I wrote back to him in all caps, because as a good Indian mother, I mainly shout at my children. I wrote back, "This is your mom." And he wrote back, "I know, gigging like a boss." Thank you. A boss. Yeah, B-A-W-S-E, boss. And also, please do remember as you listen to the rest of my set this evening that I didn't choose it, but the thug life chose me. That's right. So I have kids. Of course you love your kids and it's difficult to raise them. Small kids are very easy, I find. The biggest downside of having a very small child is they are very boring. Yeah, they want to show you they love you by talking to you all the time, but everything they know, you already know. I mean, literally zero value add in any of those conversations. But you do it anyway because they're your kids, you know? And you know what people say, small kids, small problems, big kids, bigger problems. And the reason is that as your kids get older, you have to discipline them properly. And I find this very stressful because I'm born and raised in India. So what I consider robust, healthy, high-quality parental discipline is frowned upon in this part of the world. That's not true. It's illegal. I know because I have checked. And I want to have really well-behaved kids, but that is no use to me if I am in jail. So I have to learn what you guys do here. And the big thing here is teach your kids about action and consequence using a multitude of techniques. So you have something called star chart. You know what star chart is? Yeah, no, let me tell you, sir. Star chart is you find something vaguely not negative that your child possibly might be able to do and then work it into the conversation and give them a star. Thank you for not kicking me in the face today. Here's a star. And then the other one, action and consequence, naughty step. You've been terribly behaved. Kindly go relax on the staircase.
So the winter's drawing in. It's over. The summer was over. We never even had a summer. It was so depressing. Nothing happened, except there was a lot of rain, a great deal of rain. More rain ever since records began. Yes. Not that we have any idea what that means. There was this strange period in history with no records at all. People would leave their homes and go, it feels slightly different to yesterday. Is anybody writing this down? And then after a period of time, somebody said, enough's enough, I will write this down. I would like to announce that records have begun. That first day must have been quite a record-breaking day, don't you think? It's the hottest, wettest, windiest day since records began! This morning, I've only just started. I've been talking about the wind as well on the weather. Who cares about the wind? Could it be a stiff northeasterly breeze? I'm not sailing to work. I don't give a shit. People see that and go, I'll leave slightly later with the tailwind. I'll be there in half the time. Woo! Then the clocks are going to change. Nobody knows when the clocks are going to change. They change on a Saturday night. Nobody knows it's going to happen. Everybody the same every Saturday night, every year. They don't know which way or what's going on. You only find out about it late on Saturday night. You overhear somebody, excuse me, what was that? The clocks, they changed. When? Tonight? Oh! Darling, the clocks, which way? They go back. Is that the good one? Is that the good one? How many years do we need to be alive before we know when they change and which way? An extra hour! Woohoo! The only thing we can look forward to, ladies and gentlemen, in this winter is snow. It's the only thing that gets us through, because the weather's terrible, but snow is the holy grail. Nothing beats snow. And normally, we get one day of snow, and you've got to hope that it snows overnight, so you can be snowed in. Earlier this year, it snowed in the middle of the day. You don't want that. I was waiting for my bus, and where I live, there's no tube. You have to wait for the bus. The buses actually originate there. The bus is already there. So it's even more frustrating. I'm waiting for the driver. We've got everything we need. We're looking for people. Can you drive this thing? And that's when the snow came. Amazing, instantly landing snow. The best of snow. I mean, the most unbelievable snow. And then I realized, oh my God, I could get snowed out. This is not what I need. The driver shows up. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you, due to the chaos on the roads, it's been snowing 8 seconds at this point. We're cancelling the bus. There will be no running of this service. And we're like, well, hang on a minute. We bought our tickets. What are we going to do? How are we supposed to get home? There's no way to get home. What are we going to do? And he said, don't shout at me. I actually live at the other end of this bus route. I take this bus home, and then I'm relieved by another driver. And we're like, well, this is a very interesting development. How are you going to get home? There's only one thing to do. Walk. It's the only way we can get home. It's the only way at all. I'm like, fine, okay. So we walked the bus route, led by the driver. We came to the first stop. We had to tell the people waiting, there's no bus. And they joined our imaginary bus. It was getting bigger and bigger. I looked behind us, I could see the next imaginary bus. Not a bus, just people walking. And it was catching up fast, because no one to pick up from the stops. And the driver saw this as well, and he turned around. He said, when we get to the next stop, don't tell them anything. Keep walking, they can get on the next one. I thought this was one of the funniest things that ever happened to me. I said to the woman walking next to me, I said, this is hilarious. We're on an imaginary bus. There's a driver. There are old people walking. And this is funny, right? And I thought we were on the same wavelength. But now I remember I was doing most of the talking because she said, I'd love to chat, but this is my stop. She got down to an actual bus stop and then walked in the direction we had just come from.
This year, I did no lilt February. Thank you. I know, it sounds impossible, but you take it one day at a time. Did I have any today? No, you're a legend. It gets hard around the middle of the month, you get the cravings. It's called lilt guilt. You're like, oh, I bloody love the lilt. It's the night where you go to the shop at midnight, you kick the doors in, where's the lilt? And they're like, we don't stock it anymore. Like, ah! So you try and make your own hooch lilt, you know, you get a pineapple and a grapefruit, and you add in batteries and a horse's head, and you're like, it's good, but it's not totally tropical. Did that joke in America recently. Turns out they don't have lilt there. So, this is all I do. Imagine if this was your actual... I go like blah, 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 and you go, ah, ha, 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 money. I can't believe I get away with it. You do actual, proper London jobs. You know, like blacksmith, you know? Farrier. Brunch DJ. The big three. I tell you, I do not trust people who work in offices. I know, right? What are they doing? Nothing takes that long. They're planning something. They must be. Do you know? Do you ever call in to visit your friend in an office unexpectedly? Everyone just shits themselves. They're like, what's he doing here? Cover the screen, lie across the spreadsheet, get him out. Kind regards, warm regards, best. That's how they talk. Seen the email. Hey, I know what it's like in the real world. Look, sometimes I check in your world. Oh, gross, back to showbiz. And... No, I'm very self-aware of the level of fame that I have. I was in a supermarket recently, and an older lady came up to me, and she put her hands on my shoulders, and she said, you are vaguely familiar. And that is it. I did a gig in Wrexham, and I was at an ATM machine, and a guy cycled by, and he shouted at me, surprised to see you at an ATM machine. And I've been obsessed with it since then. What did he mean? On the one hand, is he surprised I don't have a butler to go to the ATM machine for? No, I think it's the opposite. I think I'm surprised you have any money whatsoever doing keyboard horse shit. Here's my greatest ever showbiz tale. I did a gig in your Milton Keynes recently, thank you, and I was staying in the Milton Keynes Hilton, and she is the least well-known of all the Hilton sisters. And I checked in after the gig at like 12:30. Room 303 is where this took place. Open the door, TV on in the room. Not that uncommon in the chain hotels. I guess it's to welcome you. But get this, on the TV is me playing the shitty keyboard on some show. Immediate thought is like, is this a service they provide to all guests? If so, no, it's the realization, this is it. I've arrived, and I waltz into the room, down the little corridor with the loo away to the left, and as the room opens out, there is a fully naked man lying on the bed. So they've given me the key to someone else's room, but he is lying there, watching me on the TV, and he looks up. To think of something smart. What I say is like, oh shit, sorry man. I could have said anything and I'd be a legend. I could have been like, oh, you enjoying this? Ah, no boner. And just walked out of it.
You know, when you're in love with somebody, you rarely see them at work. You rarely see them doing the thing that they do and you can't. It's extremely attractive. Go follow your partner someday to work. If they're having an affair, it'll be a hideous conclusion. But But just watch them doing the thing. It's really cool, because you can't do it, they can. You go, I fucking know you're fantastic, you're glorious. Particularly when they're saving a life. Jesus, you're there going, oh, you're beautiful, I love you, and you're making me look good right now. Yeah, she's my girlfriend, look at her, she's Gloria. She's saving her life, trophy bird, right? I had to be peeled off the doctor the day of the mini-stroke. Seriously, she was underneath me going, that's very flattering, but could I deal with the situation first, right? And I was behind her going, no, she'll be unconscious for a while, yes. Apologise, she's actually in the room tonight. Sorry about that. But it is nothing more attractive than seeing the person. I mean, the doctor here, have you a partner there with you? Have you a boyfriend or a husband with you?
Yeah, he's a teacher.
He's a teacher, so he's not in the medical trade. My teacher friend, isn't it sexy? Have you seen her ever deal with an emergency, have you?
Not yet.
Not yet, he said loudly. Get her to run over one of these feckers on the way home tonight. Dude, it's extremely attractive. But the one bad thing is you're very clannish people, the doctors. They have a tendency to hang around together in little groups, right? Okay. My teacher friend, do you have to go to loads of social events where it's just you and doctor? Does that happen to you, my friend? Does it?
I hate it.
Yeah, I know. It's a nightmare. I hate it, he said. I am articulating your pain, my friend. He hates it, ladies and gentlemen, because there's times I've been at dinner parties and it's doctor, and I'm the only feckin' muggles in the room, right? And they don't know half as much as you give them credit for. My friend, if you're ever at another dinner party and it's all doctors, feck with their heads. It's remarkably easy to do. If you're ever out with a load of doctors and they're going, well, today I performed a fucking duckendectomy. You just go, yeah, but what are hiccups? Exactly. There's many competing theories at the moment. And then you go, why, if you stay in bed longer, do you feel more tired? It's not my speciality, that particular field. Does time heal all wounds? Who the fuck invited you to this dinner party anyway? What are the oil of Olay 7 signs of aging? No one actually knows what the oil of Olay 7 signs of aging are, right? Apparently they start with little lines around the eyes and finish with a woman sitting on a stairs with a bottle of gin going, I have him the best years of my life! And it takes a feckin' hell of a cream to get rid of that, let me tell you. Doctor, one final question. Doctor at the back there, my surgeon friend, liver and pancreas, answer me this. What are hiccups exactly?
Diaphragmatic irritation.
A diaphragmatic irritation. Good woman yourself. Very good. Let the punters at home note, she said, diaphragmatic irritation, which is right. I also would have accepted any arrhythmic irritation of the phrenic nerve. Please. I'm not a doctor. I'm just riding one. Okay.
Do I get to travel with this job a lot, which I enjoy? I get recognised as well, which is a strange experience. It's not always from being on TV. Sometimes you just get recognised the next day if you've done a gig somewhere. Like I had this recently. I was up north, and I'd been doing some gigs. The next day, I was just in the hotel having my breakfast. And there was a couple in the corner, and I could see they kept looking at me. This couple must have been sort of in their 50s. And they kept looking over at me, and I was just having my breakfast. And as they got to leave, they came past my table, and they stopped. And the lady said, can we just say, she went, you were amazing last night. I said, oh, wow, thank you so much. She was like, honestly, our cheeks are still hurting. I was like, wow, thank you. And her husband was like, we just love finding new people. And I was like, wow, thank you so much. And they walked away, and a few people turned to look at me, and I thought, oh, they're probably quite disappointed. They don't recognise me. They don't know who I am. And then I thought, no, that's not it at all, is it? It's because at no point during that interaction did anybody mention that I was a comedian. So all that happened was this couple approached me over a hotel breakfast and said, you were amazing last night. Our cheeks are still hurting. We love finding new people. But of course, the issue is that the people there, of course, you can't tell from looking at me like I'm a comedian, because you can't just judge someone just by looking at them, can you? I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. But you can sometimes, can't you? You know, like, for example, if you see a man over 55 with a ponytail. You can make assumptions, can't you? Like, he's either a magician or he knows karate. You know? You know one thing for sure, he's definitely divorced. Like, you shouldn't, but you can is my point. But of course, ultimately you can't, and you can't judge someone just by looking at them. Like, you wouldn't know, for example, you wouldn't know from looking at me that I've got epilepsy, would you? Because I haven't. No, I do, don't worry, it's fine, it's good news, I've got it. In fact, fun fact for you, I had my first ever seizure during National Epileptic Week. Which was fitting. I'll tell you about the first seizure I ever had. Is that okay to do? Is that all right? Thank you. I know sometimes people get a bit funny if people start talking about health conditions. I know some people don't like to talk about their own health conditions. Like, I've got a friend called Paul. He's got psoriasis. Doesn't like to talk about it at all. And I'd rather just sweep under the carpet. So people in the minutes. Some big fans of psoriasis stuff down here. There's more if you want it. Just scratching the surface. But no, we'll move on. It's one condition at a time. Yeah, sorry. The first seizure I ever had, it was my first year at university. I was in Topshop trying on a pair of jeans in Topshop. I had no idea that I had epilepsy. I just went in there to try on these jeans, fell to the floor, I had a seizure. I woke up, still in Topshop. I had no idea what was going on. I just woke up. There was this bright light and 3 women looking over me. I thought I was in heaven. And then one of them just went, "Excuse me." She went, "Do you know what day it is?" Now, I didn't know that was a thing. And I remember just thinking, can you not ask someone else? It's like, to me, this woman had just walked into Topshop and just gone, "What day is it?" Oh, that's that guy there on the floor. The one who's bleeding from the mouth and appears to have wet himself in a pair of jeans that he'll be forced to pay for. Which is unacceptable. I was glad when they went under.
This is dream come true stuff. I'm so excited to be here, ladies and gentlemen. I bought everything I'm wearing today. All from Primark. I love Primark. Do you know what I've discovered, though? Some people don't like that shop. They hate it, and they don't like you shopping there. And I found that out a few years ago. Bought a jacket, put it straight on. Went to meet my friend for a drink. She's sitting with all of her friends. And I know these people quite well, but I still call them her friends because I don't like them. Get about 5 minutes in. One of them's like, "Adam, where's your jacket from?" I said, "It's from Primark. It's great, isn't it? £6. And this girl made a noise that I'd never heard come from a human before. She sounded like a cow having a stroke. She went, "Meow." I said, "Do you want an ambulance or a vet? How can I help you?" She said, "No, I'm offended." I said, "Oh my God, I never mean to offend anyone. I'm very sorry. How have I done that? How have I offended you?" She said, "Because, Adam, you shouldn't shop at Primark. The prices are so low, it means that somebody in the third world is being exploited." I said, "What, Coventry?" She said, "It's not funny, Mr. Funny Man, okay? People in the third world being exploited making these things. They're on about 11 pence an hour. How do you feel about that?" I was like, "Look, I know what you're saying. But he's already fucking made it now." Like, it's already a jacket. It's not going to go back to being cotton if I don't buy the thing. I'm going to have a nice jacket and you have a chill out and we'll have a nice night. How about that? She's one of these people who's just desperate to be upset by anything you say or do. I gave some homeless guy some money that night on the little pub crawl we did. She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "What? What have I done now, Wendy? What's wrong with this?" No, there's nothing wrong with helping these people, but you shouldn't give them money. You should buy them food. I went, right, well, I think he wants cider, so... Maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm saying I think he wants cider, and that's why I gave him money, and he can go and buy whatever he wants with it. Don't take the choice away from him, Wendy. That's patronising, and that's offensive. You wouldn't like it, would you? No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. It's my round in the next bar. How are you going to feel if I come back with a pint for me and a tuna butty for you? You're going to be happy?
But I think women should just let it out. It's a big day in a girl's life when she can freely let rip in front of her bloke. It is. I think women should be having I farted in front of my boyfriend for the first time parties. I do. I think they should be ringing up their mums, just going, Mum, I've got something to tell you. Oh, darling, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? I just did a fart in front of Tom. Oh, darling, there's wonderful news, wonderful news. And what did he say? He didn't say anything. He just laughed and farted back. My little girl's all grown up. Meanwhile, Dad will be in the background just going, women are farting far too early in front of their boyfriends these days. It was 18 months before your mother even trumped in my direction. 6 months before she'd take a dump in the house when I was around. Yes. And also, I'll tell you something else we pretend as well. We keep the lady garden quite tidy, us girls, don't we, in the early stages. We all do little tricks with it. Look, it's the strip, it's the Brazilian. Oh, look, I put a hat on it, it's the Mexican. Like we do. We do all that in the early stages, and then after about a year, it looks like the back of the wardrobe that leads to Narnia. Well, if he wants it, he's going to have to work for it. People say to me, Andy, you could try meeting people in a nightclub. You'll never meet anyone good in a nightclub because the nightclub environment is designed to have us make bad decisions. It is because it's dark, you can't see, you can't hear. You know what, if nightclubs want to be responsible, what they should do to help us out is just before the exit, they should have a brightly lit room where you can check out the person you're leaving with. Yes, they should. They should call it, have a sodding word with yourself lounge. And you would literally get women in there just going, oh my God, you're wearing a fleece. I couldn't tell because it's so dark in there. Okay, nice to meet you. But listen, if you meet somebody online, all I'm going to say is there's some safety things to take into consideration. Now, I met somebody through Twitter, just the once. I'll never do it again. And it was the most irresponsible thing I think I've ever done. And I spoke to a friend about it before we met up, and I said, listen, I've met this guy, and we seem to really like each other, and we're talking about meeting up. What do you reckon? Should I meet him? And before my mate even had a chance to say anything, I said, you know what? I am going to meet this guy. You know why? Because life's too short. And my mate just went, yeah, you're going to find out how short. And my mum says, she says, look, if you go on these dates, make sure you meet in a public place, okay? And I'm just going to add something to that. Public place, brill. Public house, excellent. Public toilet. Don't meet in never meet in a public toilet. No good can come of it. Unless it's, you know them space-age toilets that they have outside? Where you put the money in, press the button, and then the door opens. You know why? Because you can pretend it's blind date. How cool is that? You just put the money in, press the button. And if you don't like it, just press the button really quickly. I don't know why, like young couples, new couples have got this obsession with finding out how many people someone's been out with from before. Like, how many previous partners? This is a lose-lose situation, right? And if any of you have ever had that conversation or you think it's ever going to come up, this is what I say. This is what you should say, okay? Just say to the person that's asked you, you want to know how many previous partners? Okay, I'll tell you from the beginning, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, you, 6, 7...
There's other younger people in the room, right? You know what I mean. You have only ever known a time in your life when you're trying not to get pregnant or trying not to get somebody else pregnant. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but on both accounts, I fucking smashed it. I think it comes down to skill set at the end of the day, doesn't it? People are just good at different things. Some people are good at the violin. Some people are good at parallel parking. I was very good at taking the pill. Every day, every day, every day. Honestly, I used to think I was so good at taking the pill, I deserved a reward. Arguably, there was a reward. It was the reward of not having to watch Peppa Pig or cleaning up another human's shit. Tell you what I don't understand, right, is women who are on the pill and forget to take it. Don't get that. Because don't get me wrong, I forget things. I forget my keys, my wallet, the fact I'm married. Sure! But forgetting to take something that can prevent you from creating a human that could one day say, turn the machines off, is what she would have wanted. I'm going to remember that one, thank you. Obviously does happen though, women forget to take the pill, they get knocked up. Happened to a girl I used to work with actually, when I used to work in an office, right? And we were chatting about it one day. She was so blasé, we're in the kitchen. She's just standing there rubbing her belly like, well, the thing is, I've just got really bad memory. I was thinking, that's funny, because every day without fail, you remember to steal my milk. Maybe if you'd strapped your packet of microgynon to my semi-skimmed... Stephen in accounts wouldn't be telling everyone how you trapped him. I think the reason I was always very good at remembering to take the pill, because I've been on it for so long. I was on it since I was about 16. And the reason I started taking it was because I was going out with my first boyfriend, Kevin Sutherland. A boom, chicka, wow, wow. He was quite the catch. He had a Peugeot 106 and a tattoo of Bart Simpson, which I thought showed a great joie de vivre. And things were going very well between Kevin and I. We had matching bracelets from Argos, so you can tell how serious we were. And we'd agreed that we were going to do it for the first time, right? So I was like, right, I'll put myself on the pill because my first time is going to be really special. My first time is going to be just like in the movies. So the big day arrived, and Kevin, bless him, he made such an effort for everything to be really perfect. Like, he paid his little brother to leave the room. To this day, the most romantic thing a man has ever done for me. And he made a mix CD of all of our favourite romantic songs. You know, like Boom, 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 Let Me Hear You Say Wayo. And as we lay down on his single bed, with his Liverpool FC duvet cover on it, the scent of Lynx Africa heavy in the air. And as Kevin took my virginity so beautifully, and gently, and quickly, from behind, I remember thinking, wow, just like in the movies. Obviously, it's quite difficult to make eye contact in that position, isn't it? Almost felt like I lost my virginity to Steven Gerrard. I'll never walk alone. I never will.
You know, when I found out that I was going to do this gig, I immediately put together a message and I pinged it out on our family WhatsApp group to my husband and my children, because that is the kind of rock and roll comic I am. And my son, my teenage son, wrote back to me at once, and his message said, "Thug life chose you, brah." And I was like, oh shit, my child has joined a gang. I mean, what kind of language is this? Thug and bra. It had 2 R's, but he's a terrible speller. And I was like, oh no. And the other thing is I thought, this message is not for me. This idiot has sent me a message by mistake, which is for a gang member. What if the next message is something much worse? And that really bothered me because, well, this was my moment. I am going to Apollo. Like, if I'm going to find out you're a criminal, can we do it next month? So I wrote back to him in all caps, because as a good Indian mother, I mainly shout at my children. I wrote back, this is your mom. And he wrote back, I know, gigging like a boss. Thank you. A boss. Yeah, B-A-W-S-E, boss. And also, please do remember as you listen to the rest of my set this evening that I didn't choose it, but the thug life chose me. That's right. So I have kids. Of course you love your kids and it's difficult to raise them. Small kids are very easy, I find. The biggest downside of having a very small child is they are very boring. Yeah, they want to show you they love you by talking to you all the time, but everything they know, you already know. I mean, literally zero value add in any of those conversations. But you do it anyway because they're your kids, you know? And you know what people say? Small kids, small problems, big kids, bigger problems. And the reason is that as your kids get older, you have to discipline them properly. And I find this very stressful because I'm born and raised in India. So what I consider robust, healthy, high-quality parental discipline is frowned upon in this part of the world. That's not true. It's illegal. I know because I have checked. And I want to have really well-behaved kids, but that is no use to me if I am in jail. So, I have to learn what you guys do here. And the big thing here is teach your kids about action and consequence using a multitude of techniques. So you have something called star chart. You know what star chart is? Yeah, no, let me tell you, sir. Star chart is you find something vaguely not negative that your child possibly might be able to do and then work it into the conversation and give them a star. Thank you for not kicking me in the face today. Here's a star. And then the other one, action and consequence, naughty step. You've been terribly behaved. Kindly go relax on the staircase.
I am what you call in show business a triple threat. I do comedy, and I do music, and I will cut you. Just joking, I probably won't. So it's so fantastic to be here today. I will be doing a little bit of music, so if you're a fan of NWA or Snoop Doggy Dogg, then I apologise. I'll be about 3 minutes. So this first song, this is about travelling on a train. Could you give me a cheer, Apollo, if you've ever been on a train before? About half. Okay, great. Lovely. Well, the half of you who cheered, that means you are my target demographic. Congratulations. So I'm going to sing this song. This is about the worst thing any of us can ever encounter on a train journey. Just before I sing it, I have had some problems at previous gigs, actually, so I just want to make something crystal clear. If you listen carefully, I'm not even saying the word Hindu. Just listen harder. Hindu on a train. Hindu on a train. Cowboy hats and penis cakes. Neck tattoos and big L plates. And voices like a foghorn in a drain. Hindu on a train. Groping every passing male. I suspect you've been to jail. And God willing, you might all go again. And although I have so many things
to say to you. I'm aware that there are 6 of you, and all of you have had more fights than me. I've never glassed someone, but I do know how. Perhaps I'll glass you now. And do on a train. You brought your own speakers too, brilliant. To belt out Calvin Harris tunes. I mean, the maid of honor's clearly on cocaine. And on a train. You see me staring and you threaten me. Then drunkenly you all set on me, and with a dig-shaped bottle take your aim. If you only knew, we're not so different, me and you. Just 3 months ago, my friends Hindu, we got drunk and we pretty much hijacked a plane. We were worse than you. We went down on all the crew. Mostly reluctant gay men, some women too. We got thrown out of Spain. You see, we're all the same, but you're not listening, you're bashing out my brain. And do on a train.
I'm married to a comedian. Did you know John Richardson? Oh, yeah. Oh, you know he is. Do you know, because I'm going on tour, my management company, they took a Facebook advert out and someone said, don't read the comments. So I did. There was just one that bothered me, and this guy had put, without trying to be too crude, how many has she had to get the career she's got? I mean, the answer's 1, but... It's weird to applause that, isn't it? It's only weird for my granddad who's watching. That's not weird. You've made that weird for an 87-year-old. Anyway, but the thing, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've started to do a bit of telly now, and I'm in this weird stage where I'm getting recognised, but I'm not used to it yet. And I walked in a pub last night, and there was a woman staring at me, and I thought, what are you fucking looking at? And then I realised, oh, it's me. I did, you know Michael McIntyre's The Wheel? Have you seen it? The game show? I lost someone £98,000. If you've seen the show, you know they go back down in the ground. When he went down, he turned to me and said, I've had a lovely day, thank you. That would have slapped me. We're both vegan now. I'm a vegan that likes steak for the iron, and John's a vegan when he's interviewed on TV. It's a weird life for him, though, you know. As he's seen it through his eyes, the situations we're getting from, because he's been on TV 10 years. We went and did this gig, you know, in a school. And then we parked up, and he turned to me and he said, I've got to go. And I was like, oh, all right then, just wait till you get in. He was like, I've got to go now. And he didn't let me get out. He got on the back seat, and luckily we had a bucket because we've been to Seaside. We've got blacked out windows. And I got out, and there was 2 of his fans waiting for him. And they said, we've come all the way from Rotherham to see John. They said, where is he? I said, he's shitting in a bucket in the back of the car. And they said at the same time, we'll wait. But we're both vegan. And then when we go out for a nice meal, I'll order the steak for the iron. And he'll order butternut squash. And then he'll be looking at my steak and he's not listening to what I'm saying. And so what I do right at the end, I go, oh, I can't eat that last bit. Oh, what a waste, like that. And then we just swap the plates round and it's all in silence. And he eats this bit of steak and the look on his face after he's eaten it is like, you know those Facebook adverts that go viral of the deaf baby when it gets a hearing aid? And here's its mother talk. That's what it's like.
All of the parenting stresses me out. All of it. Like right from the beginning, when you're pregnant, you've got to think of a name for your kid. You're like, right, we're going to have to name it. That's tradition. Going to have to give it a name. And it's hard to think of a name for a kid because that's their name. That's going to be their name all their life if it pans out. And I'm an indecisive person. I struggle to think of passwords for websites, and you get help for that, don't you? Like, oh no, weak. And names go in and out of fashion, don't they? Some names, they can be in fashion, but they don't come back in. We all know those names. And I tell you a thing that's back in fashion now, and I find it fascinating, is virtue names, right? That is back in fashion. Those virtue names is a sort of Victorian notion that if you name your kid after a virtue, they might live up to that virtue. But that's risky business, isn't it? That's hubris. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your son Victor. He could end up a bit of a loser. Ernest, he could become a bullshitter. Grace is an ever-popular name. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your daughter Grace. She could end up a sort of galumphing oaf. Stacking her head on low beams. Falling into crockery at dinner parties. You'd be like, oh, come on, Grace. Do your laces up, babe. Stop farting. Prudent, she'll end up lip deep in debt, won't she? Chastity. Although my son is called Frank. Someone said to me, you've done it, innit? You've called your son Frank. That's a virtue. To be honest, to be above board, to be trustworthy. I was like, oh, shit, never thought that. He'd end up an estate agent now, isn't he? He's funny, Frank. I think he's funny. I would say that, wouldn't I? Because I'm his mum. He's not funny. My child's funny. Tell a joke. Look at 774 pictures of my child. But I think he's funny, right? I went to pick him up from school the other day. I pick him up every day because they get proper arsey if you don't. They do. They ring you. They're like, where are you? I'm like, TK Maxx, where are you? Oh, all right then, yeah. So, yes, I went to pick him up from school. And I was late, and I wasn't being very laid back that day. I was running a bit late, a bit stressed. I had my eldest with me. I had my mate's 2 kids that were coming back for tea. I thought we'd just get him and go. He's in reception. I was like, right, we'll just get off, yeah? But the teacher stopped me. She went, can you wait, actually? Can we have a quick chat? In that, voice. So I had to arrange my face into one of those mum pretending to give a shit faces. I said, go on, what's he done? She said, do you want to tell Mummy what you did today, Frank, or shall I tell Mummy? He's got upset now. He's like, you tell Mummy. I'm like, what's he done? What? She said, look, today, Frank stuck a digit up the teaching assistant's bottom. That's not ideal, is it? It's very difficult to know what to do with your face. I was going through all the faces in my phone. She said, we've talked about bodies, haven't we, Frank? And areas of bodies that we respect. I thought now would be a really bad time to go, this is awful. I mean, this is a finger up the TA's... I mean, this is now they're teaching numeracy in primary education now. Sort of like, oh, if Frank's got one finger up the TA's arse, how many fingers are still on the outside?
theory that masturbation is a kind of summoning spell for your own rational mind. Because we're all so driven by hormones and by desire. Sometimes you've got to have a wank to speak to your real self. You have a wank, you go, oh, I should have shagged my ex one last time. I'll text her, I'll meet her, I'll shag her. And then you come and a little voice comes on in your head that goes, yeah, don't do that, mate. You've got to be careful with jokes, haven't you? Because not everybody's got a sense of humour. I can remember when I first realised not everybody's got a sense of humour. I was 13, I was at school and we were doing a class on stereotypes. The teacher was a really good guy. He's just talking about how stupid stereotypes are. And he was talking about a stereotype that day that's so old-fashioned and so Scottish that you definitely won't have heard it. Have you ever heard the stereotype that deaf people are really strong? That was a genuine thing when I was growing up. Deaf people, particularly deaf and dumb people, were believed to be really strong. And the teacher said, think how stupid that is. Have you ever seen a deaf contender for the heavyweight championship of the world? And me, aged 13, I put my hand up and I went, there was one, sir, but he was disqualified for punching after the bell. And nobody laughed. And I knew right then that life was going to feel pretty long. You've got to have a bit of leeway with jokes, haven't you? I can't write jokes for the average person, can I? The average person is Chinese. So I'm from Glasgow, a city where people think that hepatitis B is a fucking vitamin. To explain Glasgow's attitude to you, this happened to me recently. I was having a wee snooze in a park, because my career's been going really well lately. I was having a wee doze under a tree, and a guy came up to me and he went, do you know your problem? You're fucking unapproachable. Glasgow's like an entirely negative city. I went to a coffee shop one time. Two middle-aged women sat across from me and they started to moan as they sat down about how long they thought the coffee was going to take. So nothing had happened and they were both angry. And coffee turned up and the first one takes a sip and goes, that's not very good, is it? And the second one takes a sip of hers and goes, I don't even like coffee. I think English people don't really understand Scottish attitudes. You think that we all just want to see the English football team get beaten. But actually, a lot of us would much rather see the team plane crash into an oil refinery. I enjoyed reading about Sam Allardyce. I didn't realise English football had a corruption problem. I thought the only problems in English football were racism, sexism, homophobia, match-fixing, gambling, sexual assaults and the failure to perform at major tournaments.
I was in America. I done a gig in America, in New York, and after the gig, a guy said to me, hey, buddy, are you actually Scottish? And I said, yes. And he said, man, your English is really good. I got these discs. Best I've got una mesa para quattro, por favor. I've got tourist stuff. Kind of nailed. Tourist stuff you need on holiday. Like, that means a table for four, please. She says it a few times. She says, una mesa para quattro, por favor. A table for four, please. And then she leaves a beat and goes again, in case you're a moron. Una mesa para cuatro, por favor. A table for four, please. And she says it 3 and 4 times, and you start drifting off and just imagining how many people have been found dead listening to these discs. A suicide note wrote in broken Spanish. It all got too muchas. Una mesa para cuatro, por favor. A table for four. And that's crucial knowledge, because I know that when me and 3 associates, when we walk in to a restaurant in Spain, I can tell the head waiter is looking at us and thinking, well, I wonder what these guys want. Fortunately, I'm on hand to defuse the situation. I have been thoroughly briefed. I step forward and say, una mesa para cuatro, por favor. And we get sat at the table for 4. Guy brings the menus in Spanish, and I crumble. Everybody else is losing their minds, going, what the f... What's a hamburguesa? If you go a proper holiday, next time, go to a karaoke bar. This was my holiday highlight. Sit and patiently wait until a Scouser comes on the stage. That's a universal must-see. Somebody from Liverpool on the mic in a karaoke bar. Some of the finest performances you'll ever witness. Don't call me name. Don't call me name. Alejandro. I'm not your babe. I'm not your babe. Fernando. Alejandro. Alejandro. Baby, you're a firework. The whole pub's heading for the car park, thinking the fire alarm's going off. What's your name? Guy in the green t-shirt.
Scott.
Scott. What kind of music do you like, Scott?
Top 40.
Top 40, like chart music. Modern music just sounds the same to me. Makes me feel thick. No modern chart music. In the club. That's the way every song sounds to me these days. Everybody gonna shuffle on down tonight. We're in the club. In the club. Get freaky. You feel it deleting cookies in your brain, the song. Just in the club. Everybody in the club. We ain't gonna stop until it's time to start again. In the club. In the club. And the song finishes and you think, wow, I now know less stuff.
I was on holiday recently. I was on an all-inclusive. We all love an all-inclusive holiday, don't we? Oh, aye. Chips and gateau for breakfast. Yes. I always think it's amazing. I can always identify where people are from on an all-inclusive holiday. It's fascinating for me. Like, the Italians. You can always tell the Italians because they could put on a bag of rags and look amazing. Then you can see the Germans, and they're quiet. And they're reserved. And then there's us. The British. That's interesting, isn't it? Because we all want to become pals with each other. I've had a pen pal in Woking for 25 years that I met in Lanzarote. But it was really, really interesting for me because there's a way I can always tell if someone is from the south of England on holiday. And it's I don't need to hear your accent, nothing. The way, number one, I will tell if you are from the south of England is it will be 9 o'clock at night. It's 28 degrees. The moon and the stars are out. And you come out wearing a wee jumper. Because it gets a bit chilly. It's 28 degrees. The moon's out. I'm Scottish. I'm like, past the factor 50 hen. I do not trust the moon burn. Get me the factor 50. Then there's another way I can always tell someone is from the south of England. You and I are on an all-inclusive holiday. We can eat as much as we want. And they will go to the bar and they will order a half pint. No, you can't order a half pint in Scotland. Next time you visit Scotland, try and order a half pint. That is one of the most tense conversations you will ever have. About 3 months ago, I went to a bar in my home city of Glasgow. And I says to the barman, can I have 2 pints of lager and a half pint of lager? And he looked at me. And he went, "What was that?" I said, "It's 2 pit." He went, No. Just the last one." I went, "It's just a half pint of lager, mate." "Hold on. Come here. Tell him." "Just the last one." I went, "It's just a half pint of lager. Is that for you?" "It's for my pal." "Ah? Are they on antibiotics?" "Are they pregnant?" "Would they like a colouring book and crayons with that?"
I'm from Glasgow. If I had to explain Glasgow to you, we can't just be dour, negative bastards up there. John Logie Baird invented the TV, and when people came up to congratulate him, he went, "Aye, but there's fuck all on." We're looking forward to the Olympics in London. I'll take that as a no.
You don't need to be in the army these days to get a gun if you're a young person. A lot of gun crime on the streets, a lot of caps getting popped. I don't really know the solutions. I just know the problems. It used to be in the UK at 14 years old you could legally be in possession of an air rifle. Whilst it's not a proper gun, it's still SWAT, right? But that get moved to 17 years old because 17-year-olds, they're dead responsible. If somebody was pointing a gun at you, you'd be going, "That's fine, he looks about 17. That's good." He knows what he's done. 17 years old to be in possession of a firearm, but you've got to be 18 before you can be in possession of fireworks. 17, you can shoot somebody dead, but you've got to wait a year before you can frighten the shite out of a cat. But drugs, I get offered drugs quite a lot in this game. You get offered the usual suspects like ecstasy, speed, and a drug called horse tranquilizer. You shouting yay or nay? There. I can understand people who don't know anything about drugs. Maybe trying ecstasy because it sounds quite good. Well, the connotations of the name, ecstasy. You think of states of euphoria and happiness. And then speed is pretty self-explanatory. Then horse tranquilizer. That hardly sounds the most sociable of evenings. The fact of replaced the original name with the effect it has on a horse. I think that's the way every drug should be tested. Give a lot of them to horses, then you can see what it actually does to you. It would also make the Grand National pretty interesting. 20 quid on the one that's breakdancing, please. I was watching a programme about children from the opposite end of the social spectrum. A programme called My Super Sweet 16th. Anybody seen this? Don't get too excited, it's quite shite. I was watching it about 2 o'clock in the morning when the TV's quite shite. Anybody watch late night telly? You ever been up that late at night when the TV just goes, "Get to bed"? There's nothing to see here. Unless you're a deaf baseball fan with a gambling problem, Peter. Does anybody watch these late night Channel 5 phone-in quiz shows? Anybody seen these, like Quiz Mania and The Cash Vault? It's just robbing drunk people. No, you come in at night, there's some guy going, "Okay, everybody, okay,
thanks for watching, okay? For £10,000, we're looking for a guy's name.
You come home steaming. I know a guy's name. £10,000. I know a few guys' names.
I think often a lot of people don't realise there's an actual person behind somebody's disability. And I experienced this, right, firsthand when I got lost in a park in Glasgow. I came off the path. I was in the bushes. Right, looking like a proper creepy weirdo. And I heard this guy aggressively running over at me, shouting, "Oi, you!" And I turned to face him. And he stopped dead in his tracks and went, "Oh, sorry, pal. Didn't see the stick. Thought you were a pest." You do know that's a pig guy. Yes. People only see my disability. I should see how much I can get away with. Do you know what I mean? Like, how much of a blind wronging can I be? Just go into a supermarket, blatantly shoplift a coat. I get busted trying to leave through the plate glass window again. Security guard. "Excuse me, sir, is that your coat?" "Yes, do you mind taking the security tag off it?" "Certainly, sir. Can I just see your receipt?" Like, big innocent face. Hand him a blank bit of bog roll. I bet he's not got the heart to say anything apart from, "Aye, that's fine, have a nice day." But I still maintain, no, it is an excellent time to be disabled. In fact, now, in some areas, too good. To the point, I'd like to finish this evening by asking you lovely people of the Apollo a favour. Could you please stop modifying sport so I can take part? It's now getting harder and harder to moan about being excluded when I am always being made to feel so very welcome. Not everything has to be accessible. There's a message. Being blind's a brilliant reason not to have to do something. Because this guy asked me if I wanted to take part in a game of football. You cheeky bastard. Oh, I'm going to guilt trip you, my friend. So I'd love to take part in a game of football, yes, but I just don't think the blind man's that welcome in the hallowed turf. Not realising blind football, it's an established sport. What sick prick came up with that? 22 blind lads running like fuck at each other. They're trying to kick a ball with a bell in it. Guys, that's not accessible. That's a blood sport. And who goes to see it? But I did. I played my part. I took part in one game. Yeah, they put me in goals. But I learned one thing. In flight, a ball with a bell in it is silent.
The cable was the more middle-class option. Yes, no, we don't want a satellite dish sticking out the side of our house. No, thank you. I think it looks really quite naff, yeah. Whereas the working class, the satellite dish was the key selling point. If you're paying £25 a month, you want your neighbours to know that you are better than them. Now, we had Sky through a dish, 1997. You could be watching Old School Sky in the living room, watching it on the main TV, but you could also go upstairs to the bedroom TVs, turn to a certain channel and watch Sky in the bedroom, but only what the person in the living room was watching. I don't know the intrinsic technical explanation as to why this happened, but it just did. Saturday nights, me and my dad, I'm on the couch, he's in his chair, my mum's in bed, my brother's out with his pals, just me and the old man watching Match of the Day, watching the highlights. It gets to the kind of shite games, and I say, right, I think I'm going to go to bed, Dad. Good night. And he would continue the charade, and he'd say, "Are you off to bed, son?" Good night. And there was that mutual father and son, we both know what the plan is here. I would casually exit the living room nice and slowly. Good night. Hit the hallway and race up the stairs. Don't even consider looking in the fridge. Eyes on the prize. Upstairs, bedroom TV switched on. Go to number 6. That's when you see what he's watching. TVs are synchronised. 6, we're in. He's in control. A few minutes go by and he's still watching Match of the Day. That's fine. Well, he must be giving it a few minutes. You don't want to make it too obvious. He's done this before. 5 minutes go by. He's still watching Match of the Day. I'm thinking, come on, stick to the plan, Andy. I'm looking at the bottom left of the screen, waiting for the numbers to get typed in. The numbers that could make or break the evening's entertainment. Go on, give me your numbers, Andy, come on. 9, that's a good start, 9. Could not have hoped for a better start than a 9 there. 05, the 10-minute free view. You're a dirty bastard, Dad, but I love you. So, we've got some celebrities in, as always. Live at the Apollo, who have we got? We've got the EastEnders cast. How are we doing, EastEnders? They're sitting right at the back. I don't mean the extras, I mean the real people. We're trying to ever get Phil Mitchell. No, where is he? He's up at King's Cross, dressed up as a ladyboy, trying to raise enough money to buy a pot noodle, isn't he?